Hello and welcome to episode 20 of Dial H for Heroclix. I'm your host, Hunter Smith. Today I have with me my good friend, Austin Smith, and back again from the dead, Drew Alderson.
We had to make a few deals with Mephisto to pull this one off.
I'm back, bitches!
He's so passionate about Mage Knight, the grave couldn't hold him.
Can't hold me!
Today we're going to talk about, main topic is going to be a review of Mage Knight, the main set. If you would like a review of the starter set, you can check out our all-new YouTube channel.
We have a YouTube channel?
Yeah, I've been working on it all week.
Gee, Hunter, what's the URL for that?
It's www.youshouldhavefucking-known-already.com. Anyways, I have a starter set review for Mage Knight in there where I go in detail on each dial. What makes them good, what makes them bad. I give them rankings, how good they are in all of Silver Age compared to how good they are just in Mage Knight. Today we're going to talk about Mage Knight, and we're going to talk about some spoilers. It was a kind of a slow week for news.
Very slow week.
Although we did get a trio of Superman Legion of Superheroes pieces that were all pretty dang good. And people are a little bit... That spoiler got people a little more excited about the set.
Oh, yeah. And, those are three big characters for SLOSH.
So we're going to be talking about those. First, we're going to get into some what we played. Wednesday, we had a 1,500-point game at the Game Preserve. It was pretty much anything goes, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Silver Age, resources, anything goes. What did you run, Austin?
I ran the Serpent, son. Ran the Serpent M10, Iron Man, and Split Lip.
Do you have a soul?
No.
I sold it to Mephisto to get Drew back. Oh, snap.
Bringing it back!
Serpent was really cool. I like it because, as I've said before, I like Colossals that are boss fight mechanics where they have the multi-stage effects, they have all kinds of traits, crap like that, kind of like a Zir and the Tester is.
Yeah.
I prefer like a Zir and the Tester one as opposed to a Galactus one. Galactus is just kind of like, I'm Galactus, I'm wrecking everything. I prefer like the stage by stage by stage version. The Serpent's cool. He has a fear dial, and as he attacks stuff, the fear dial goes up. And depending on which dial he's on, it has a different effect. On his 600 point, the fear dial determines how many free actions a turn he gets. Up to 2 extra free actions a turn. On his 500 point dial, the Serpent gets combat value modifiers up to +3 to everything. And on his bottom dial, it determines his range. So the dial turns whenever he hits somebody. So what I decided to do was running shot Pulse Wave, which pushed me all the way up the fear dial to the one free action. So then I got to use that free action of Pulse Wave again.
Yeah, it's heartless.
It was great. It was beautiful. Once you get him up dial, he's a monster. And then with Split Lip, I gave him a Anger's Hammer. So one of those free actions every turn I'd use to regen. Oh, it was fun. I love that team. The Serpent's is one of those characters or one of those dials I'd recommend someone pick up just because they're fun to own.
One awesome thing I didn't realize about the Serpent until I was looking at him when you played him is he has way more options as far as point value options to start him at. Most Colossals only have 3 different options, and you have to play from biggest to smallest, and they usually have 3 dials.
Yeah, you can play any combo.
He has
of the 3.
you can combo any 1, 2, or 3 of the 3.
And he just starts at the highest one and goes to
yeah, and you just play it from big to low, where that gives him I don't remember, but it's 7 point options.
That was the problem I ran into. Was my original team, before I knew about the change to Epic Action, or before I knew that Epic Actions couldn't be used in over 1,000, I ran him at 1,100. I ran his 600 and 500 dial, but I decided instead to go with his 1,300 dial, which was so much fun. He suffers from the typical Colossal issues, though, of the lower end dials really are crappy. Once he gets pushed down to them in these larger point games. So if you get blasted past that 600 point dial, he really drops in power level pretty quickly.
What teams did you play against?
First team I went against was one that was basically all the Fear Itself LEs at once. That was a really hard matchup, actually. That Odin is a monster. I mean, I'm sure you're going to talk about him a little, but that Odin, he can pick a power. He's got 6 top damage. And then that Cole Borson's is 6 top damage in the same way, except he picks a power to remove. Pretty much my biggest mistake there was, but I hadn't really realized how important the fear dial was. Had I really started out, because the Serpent starts out running shot, pulse wave, imperv, and shape change. Had I thought about running shot, pulse waving out, and then just turning the fear dial like 7 times, and then free action pulse waving until it's full, would have been a shutout. But due to my mistake, I kind of just pinged one character here and there, and it slowly worked its way up. It really cost me the game overall, and he completely stomped the Serpent. Second game was against the Phoenix 5, and the guy ran like non-stop. Like, it was pretty bad. That Siege Perilous thing is annoying.
Yeah, it is.
He ran all 5 Phoenix 5, I think, full point values.
Yep.
I running shot pulse waved, turn 1, hit all 5 of his characters.
He had Book of Skull, too.
Yeah. No, he had Gauntlet on Namor.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, I derped.
Yeah. Running shot pulse waved, which turned me up the fear dial, which gave me my free action, so I used it for a normal pulse wave. Against... I shelled out the damage with pulse wave. It was ridiculous. I one-shot the Namor. Well, I shouldn't say one-shot. It was two actions. But I running shot... Because the cool thing about Colossals is the fact you can draw a line of fire from any square.
Yeah.
So with Pulse Wave, they're a lot better. So with the Serpent, I running shot out, Pulse Wave from one of my corner squares to where Namor was within line of fire. Pulse Waved him for 7 damage.
Oh, wait a minute. Siege Courageous is a double power action? He was not using it as a double power action when I played against him.
That's true. Oh well.
That makes a little more sense because the team was unbeatable pretty much when I played him. That would have made a lot more sense. Anyways,
I running shot pulse waved, then free action pulse waved, and hit Namor for 14 pulse wave damage in one turn, which was ridiculous. It's such a fun piece though. It's not like broken. Like those first clicks are really good, but with comboing it with Anger's Hammer and things that can heal it really easily, it's ridiculous. As I said, I'd recommend that piece to anyone who really likes colossal pieces and wants a good one. Like I really want to play a match of the Serpent versus a bunch of the Mighty. Like that would be a fun matchup.
I played
a really bad team.
Well, it was better than I thought. I was going for just fun thematic teams. Hence the intro song today, Highway Hill. I was playing Trigon. I played Trigon, Mephisto, Dormammu.
Which Mephisto?
The con exclusive.
Okay, I was about to say if it was SI Mephisto, you done bitched.
Yeah, he's not very good. I don't even have him.
You mean the holiday one?
Ragnarok.
You said con exclusive.
He's a holiday con. Exclusive. But he said he's in the con exclusive.
He's in the WizKids set symbol.
Yeah. Anyways, the potbelly one.
The pregnant one.
Yeah, the pregnated one. And I played Ragnarok, Surtur, and the couple of the fire demons, and then the leader of the son of Surtur. So it was kind of all demon team. Oh, and Blackheart. And I had a full book of Skull. I thought the team was going to be really bad. For some reason, I was thinking Trigon wasn't going to be that good. He was actually very good.
Trigon is really good.
Trigon's really good.
His free action barrier thing is too sick.
It is too sick.
You get to place 2 barrier tokens that do not have to be next to each other, and that's a free action. But you have to do it at the very start of your turn.
Yeah.
And he has 8 range.
Yep.
And you place the markers down at the beginning of your next turn. When you move them, you deal 1 damage to anybody adjacent.
Well, see, what's great about that is if you're playing on a map like Realm of Death or something, you could completely block line of fire with that.
One good thing about my team, both my Colossals and Blackheart, once I gave him hammers, all had running shot Psychic Blast.
Ooh.
And Mephisto is once I gave him a hammer too. So in this event, that big of a point value, everybody has imperv. You know what I mean? It's like Oprah show. You get imperv, you get imperv. All of Phoenix 5 has imperv. So that Psychic Blast actually is what made this a better team. I had 4 figures that hit for 4 damage each with Psychic Blast, and good ranges 8 to 10. Dormammu has a 10 range, which I was surprised at. It's been a long time since I played Dormammu. And also, Dormammu's trait that lets him ignore Mystics.
Yep.
I didn't have to worry about the Mystics on the Phoenix 5 when I played them.
That's
Anyways,
the main reason I pulse waved him was I didn't want to deal with that.
the team worked out better than I thought. First round, I played the Phoenix 5 team. I lost by like 50-some points. Time ran out. It was a very slow-played match. And like Austin said, the Siege Courageous thing is just stupid because they pretty much all have either super high-range running shots or hypersonic. And they can just run around, hit, and then at the end of turn, all teleport somewhere together.
Siege Courageous should have to be at beginning of turn. Like, it's just not... It's not even fun. Like, I can see the strategic value in it to a point, but at the same time, most of the time it's used just to, like, waste time. And that's where I don't find it fun.
Yeah, but it's never going to be looked at because A, it's
only in large
very
games.
large games, and B, yeah, it's not a meta thing, so it's not going to be looked at. So
Yeah.
it's going to be there. They're going to play them.
They are... I don't think anybody expected that when they were all together, they would be this dumb.
We knew they'd be
no,
I don't see how you could.
They would be good. We expected them
Yeah,
to
I
be
knew they'd be good, but this is good.
this
I mean, I've heard tons of people complain about having to play against them in big points games, and I hadn't played them till now, and the worries are warranted.
Well, yeah, it's just... They kind of ruin those larger point games to a point.
My opponent hit leadership because when they use leadership on each other, they get to clear tokens no matter the point cost.
Yeah.
There was one round where he hit 5 out of 6 of his leadership rolls and cleared basically his entire team. And I was just like, this is just retarded. I finally killed Colossus, and I had all the rest of his 4 figures were at least half dial, if not worse. But time ran out. So, I mean, I feel like given time, and I still had full health Dormammu and Blackheart and Mephisto. So I was like, given time, I would have won, but we ran out. So the team did better than I thought. Last round I played a Serpent. I read the card before we started the match, and I noticed, like you said, on his top dial, his fear dial gives him those free actions, and then once you get him on a second dial, it just gives him like pluses, so many pluses. I was like, screw that, I'm not playing around with no free actions. So I didn't even worry about hammers that much. I just like charged in.
That's
on
the thing. He doesn't get multi-attack, so he really needs those free actions.
Yeah. So I hit him hard and fast and got him on that 600-point dial, and then I started dropping hammers, and it was a very easy game for me.
Because the way the fear dial works is it starts out at 1. Every time you damage an enemy, it goes up 1. At the beginning of the game, you roll a d6, you half it, and you add that to the fear dial. That's what it starts at. So at best, you get your first free action at 6 fear. So you would have to start at... The best you could start at is 4. Usually you start at 3, because you add 2. You go swinging out with freaking... You go swinging out with him early, and you get him up to that 6, and that's when he really just kicks in and becomes ridiculous.
Yeah.
I just got a text from Ricky, member of Dial H or HeroClix from time to time, special guest on the show. I want to read it to you. I'm interrupting the podcast because it's this funny. And also because we've already talked about how Ricky cannot drink without instantly being drunk. Like he takes,
oh God, what happened?
He takes about 2 sips off of beer and then he's like dancing around Applebee's on the table with his shirt off. So Ricky texts me from out of the blue. I haven't texted him all day. He goes, "Bro, love thou, THOU. I'm drunk." And I said, "I figured." And he just sent me a smiley face, and he hasn't said anything else.
So there's a nice hello from Ricky to all the
So
listeners.
Ricky's with us in spirit today.
Emphasis on spirits.
GP was just 2 rounds, so that's all we played at Game Preserve this week. Today we played at the Dugout, and I had kind of a farewell to Fear Itself event. I did Constructed. Was it 600 points, right?
Yeah, 600.
I think it was 6.
It's 600.
Constructed, 600 points. Let's see. I was going to play Odin, 2 Trolls, which is 400, 2 Iron Fists, which is 560. Yeah, okay, so 600. You could use everything from the full, the main set, and you could use the prize LEs, the Loki, Hela, Thor, Odin, Cole, and Null. You could not use the Serpent, and you could not use anything from the Mighty and Blitzkrieg packs.
Because Hunter doesn't want me to have fun.
Well, I did that because honestly, the Scotty and the Cap would have been fine, but the Iron Man this event's supposed to be kind of instead of picking up sealed boosters and playing these guys with what you have, you're getting to construct a team, come up with strategies, make them work together. Come up with book strategies, make them work together. And Iron Man just totally shits all over the book.
Yeah.
And especially in an event where every single team is going to have the book,
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I don't want Iron Man to be in it, and while I'm at it in the same pack, let's just not let Splitlet be in it because he takes almost all the strategy part out of it. I mean, for 20 points, he's letting you free action pick up the hammers.
As I told you, we played something similar at GP, and anyone who didn't bring Splitlip was bottom half of the total list overall. Like, it was pretty drastic.
So just to make it simple, I just said no Blitzkrieg, no Mighty. Everything else, main set in the LEs, you're fine. It was pretty fun. I set out, but I had a team which I felt like would have just wrecked. I had Odin at full points. I had 2 Trolls, 2 White Suit Iron Fists, and a full book. And my plan was use Odin's attack power to give everybody else TK, have the Trolls TK out him and one of the Iron Fists at the start to get hammers turn 1. And then turn 2, clear them, move the rest of the guys up. And Odin has a 9 range, hypersonic, and when he uses hypersonic, he does not have his range. He also has a starting out 6 damage with Outwit, which Outwit in Fear itself is totally retarded.
We talk about it.
Not to mention the fact that I'm shooting you from 9 squares away, and actually with hypersonic, it's basically a 13 square swing.
He's also power cosmic.
He is power cosmic, so he has willpower and he cannot be countered. So I was just going to TK him up, TK him up, Outwit defense, blast for 6, spin the book, TK back. Keep doing that until they bum rush me. When they bum rush me, I move into Iron Fists who already have their hammers, and they go to town.
Yeah.
So, and then once they are either that, or I was going to send in the Trolls and then give them Pulse Wave and just let them be little Pulse Wave bombs because they Pulse Wave for 3 with 12 with hammers. And I was like, they could just be little Pulse Wave bombs. Like, this team is not going to get beat. But I ended up sitting out because we had an odd number of people, and I had to get all our paperwork stuff together. So I'll let you guys talk about your teams. I know both of you did pretty well. I think you were both 2-1.
I almost took it. Like, that was close.
Both of you went 2-1 and finished like 4th and 5th respectively out of like 10 or 12 people. What were you running, Austin?
I went with all through Fear itself sealed. I'd been up against that Dracula, and I really wanted to try him. I was like, if this is a going away event for Fear itself, I want to see what it's like to be on the giving end with the Dracula instead of the receiving end. So I ran that Dracula, and I ran 2 of the Hawkeyes from the set with a full Book of the Skull and the Iron Fist. Once again, Iron Fist went the mile. I think he himself must have killed freaking 1,000 points of figures by the end of the night alone.
That's what he do.
Yeah, what he do?
But that Dracula's a monster. But once again, if he gets blasted, he's down. Most of the games I didn't, because of the lack of split lip, I didn't have time to get my hammers out, which was actually pretty interesting, and I enjoyed that a little more than the usual.
Oh darn! Didn't get free hammer pickup.
No, I'm saying like usually like when we played last time we played the Fear itself thing, like because of free action hammer pickups, like everyone already had a hammer by the time anything rolled in. But because of how this worked, things went a little quicker and people were faster on each other before hammers got dropped. What was my first match? Oh well.
I know your last match was a showdown.
Oh, my last match was one hell of a showdown. That guy gave me a run for my money. Like, that's probably like the most intense chess-like game of Heroclix I've had. Like, we talk about positioning a lot. Like, I feel like one square off at times. It was one of those matches where, like, things like running away, full movement, and stuff like that didn't feel like a douchebag move, like, because it was that serious, tactical kind of game. Like, there were times, like, I ran Hawkeye full distance just so I could clear him on his second token and get a few pot shots off before he could get up to me and start swinging again. There was lots of stuff like that. The other guy was using Elevated to his advantage a lot. The big strategy I employed in all of my games was I had double Hawkeye would go up on one side of the map, and I'd have Dracula and Iron Fist go on the other. I'd keep Dracula in stealth, of course, and block for Iron Fist. If my opponent went after the Hawkeyes, I would drop the Dracula hammer, and then I would charge across there and just completely blast somebody with Charge Flurry. If they went after Dracula, Drac can hold up on his own pretty well, and Iron Fist can help keep him distracted. And Iron Fist ignores characters, elevated, hindering, so I put him up in the middle and tie up. And those Hawkeyes just tear into him from range. So, and it actually worked to my advantage really well all night. Like, all my opponents would either go after the Hawkeyes. I think first 2 rounds, they went after Hawkeyes, and Dracula just got really big. Second match, the guy was playing Skirn Greethoth together, which, if you haven't been up against that is scary. It's a long-range pulse wave that ignores anyone with the worthy keyword, and deals 3 damage, even if it hits multiple targets. So
that's Skirn's trait.
Yeah, that's Skirn's trait. So I killed Greethoth right off the bat. He had a null too at half dial, I think. So the main set null, not the LE. So he could still pulse wave for 1, but the 1 pulse wave was a little more tolerable than 3.
Mm-hmm.
So I dropped null. That null at half dial drops really quick, actually.
He drops period. I've talked about him before. I've played against him probably 4 or 5 times. There has not been a single game I've played against him that he's landed a single attack against me. He's being giant size for him, he just goes down quick.
He got some good damage in on my Hawkeyes, but when Dracula got up to him, I hit him once for 4, knocked him down onto like 17 toughness or something like that, and just the damage rained in. And the cool thing about running 2 of those Hawkeyes is they both have enhancement, so they're both buffing each other's damage by 1. And I get the option of, do I want to deal 4 damage to 1 target, or do I want to do the end cap thing? And the triple end cap thing came into a lot of play tonight, where I slowed down some enemies, especially people that were picking up hammers. I got to triple blast a few people and screw up their hammer rotations that they had planned, and it bought me a few extra turns to tear into him with Drac. And of course, Drac attack with the cruise missiles and stuff on top of him was ridiculous. You just drop a hammer down, you quake, and he heals 4, and you're like, I don't care. Oh man, this was probably, I want to say this is probably one of my best nights for playing. Like, I had a lot of good matches. I played against some really good people tonight, and I loved my team.
Drew was playing that null LE, and he looked pretty dang good from what I could tell. I was watching some of your matches.
Okay, so, alright. My team was null, Hella, the second month LE, Hawkeye from the main set, and 2 Lokis, who were just there to be 60 points worth of annoyance. I mean, they roll on to prob and outwit, so they're very useful. For 30 points.
They carry, they move an attack without taking negatives.
It's just really good.
They're pretty good, man, for 30 points.
But if I had to choose a true superstar, it would have to be Null, because... Okay, the first game, it all came down to Null drops pretty easily. I mean, he's still useful. He has Flurry pretty much his entire dial.
And he keeps like a 4 most of the time, doesn't he?
He doesn't go... His last click, he has a 2 damage. But, I mean...
He has 10 clicks, I think?
9.
9 clicks?
9 clicks. He gets onto Region and a bunch of... But he has Battle Fury his entire dial. He has... Flurry pretty much his entire dial, so if you let him live, he's going to make you pay for it. But the problem is that first game, my opponent, I flurried, and I didn't have Scotties on him, so he wasn't exploiting. He ended up imperving both of my attacks, which was a potential 10 damage. So.
Another nuts thing about him is his sidestep for 3.
Oh,
while giant size, and sidestep is locked. So remember, you can carry somebody for free with you.
Yep.
For 3 squares and without taking a token.
And remember, he moves through blocking terrain and breaks it.
Null don't care about no rocks.
That's right.
And he's a giant, so he already ignores elevated and hindering.
I'm not gonna lie, I really underestimated this Null at first glance.
I knew his dial looked pretty sick, but I didn't think it'd be as good as what it looked when Drew was playing it. I mean, he was just manhandling everything.
I hit someone for 8. It was like, okay, Null's on the book with Perplex. Okay, I'll perplex up my damage and then move through. Free sidestep, exploit 8. It was just like...
And he's also good against Heimdall.
He is very...
Because if you can set it up right,
yep.
You sidestep in, hit the wall, and then you charge with your hand.
Yeah, he was like, you gotta stop right here. I'm like, I know, but I get to charge now because I'm inside your 3.
Yeah. And he has Giant Reach as well.
He has Giant Reach.
So he's pretty good.
Pretty sick nasty for 215. He's a lot of fun. Hella's really good. I mean, she's overcosted for normal point games, but she's good.
I feel like Hella, you have to find a way to abuse that healing. Like, you have to either run her with an army of, like, 55-point minions.
Personally, I think she's pretty overcosted. I wasn't too excited when they first showed her.
Yeah,
she
she's not
was
great.
the LE that I wasn't that worried about.
I would like her better if her double action token trait was closer to the top dial. I feel like the fact that it's, like, 4 or 5 in makes her a little...
Yeah, you're right. You could build. It'd be much easier to build
But
strategies.
if you get her down to like her 7th or 8th click, she just becomes a powerhouse with phasing teleport, penetrating psychic blast, 3 and 4 damage.
And that mind control is pretty good against characters that start half dial, which there were quite a few.
What I did was I'd mind control somebody, move them out, and then I'd have the Loki's hypersonic in and beat the shit out of them.
Yeah, because what I was saying about that mind control is the bonus is based on their click number.
Yeah, you can only target one, but you get bonus to attack based on what click number they are, so you're always going to get +1.
Nice.
So,
I saw a lot more people running Hawkeye than I thought there would be.
there were a lot.
After GP, I knew what to expect. Because that Hawkeye is just too good in other Fear Itself matches. The only thing is, like a couple of the Fear Itself pieces we've been over before, he drops so quick. Like, he has a few clicks of, like, ranged combat expert and in cap back and forth, and he hits the stop click. But past there, he's like nothing. Like, he's just a 9 and a 2 with energy shield. Like, that's his only power showing.
Yeah.
We're going to move into some news. Like we said, there's not a whole lot of news this week. Now, last week, you may have remembered we had a little mini rant. I wouldn't call it a full-fledged rant.
Well, no, I was pretty pissed.
I didn't listen to this.
About the allocation of Iron Man, and our main problem was they were doing the allocation of a Super Booster set in a main figure set, and we're going off that based on people who had shown pictures and videos reporting on YouTube and HC Realms and other places that you typically see those kinds of things. The vast majority of them were showing the allocation was not very good.
They were showing it was 1 chase and 1 prime per case.
Right. So as we said, that's a kind of a ripoff. Now I told you to vote with your wallets, and I still stand by that, no matter what the case is. But seems like now that more cases are being open, that there's actually kind of a randomness factor to your allocation. Honestly, I've seen YouTube unboxings where people have opened only 1 chase and only 1 prime in their case. I've seen them where they've opened 2 primes and no chase. I've seen 2 chases and no prime.
I've seen 2 primes, 2 chases out of 1.
I was going to say, there's been people on HC Realms saying that they've gotten gotten a case of 2 chases and 2 primes in it. So, I mean, it's all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
So, like I said, if you consider yourself a lucky person, I guess go ahead and buy the case. So, Austin, there you go.
Yeah.
Myself, I'm not going to buy any because I probably will not get a single chase or prime.
And I take back some of the stuff I said last week about the actual stuff that was in the set. There were still like 5 or 6 figures that were unspoiled at the time, and it ended up, those 5 or 6 ended up being like exactly what I wanted out of the set. We got like an Iron Doom and a couple versions of Iron Man that I hadn't seen yet.
Yeah, I hadn't seen any Iron Doom at all before.
The Silver Centurion Prime Common is amazing. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at that yet.
I've seen it. It's a good dial.
The War Machine's really good. Like, the Prime War Machine's really good. There's a lot of stuff that showed up afterwards that did make me interested. I did buy a few boosters today and got some stuff. A new Iron Man War Machine duo, of course, is in there, and that one's really good.
So the allocation's kind of all over the place, like I said.
My thoughts on this are that that's terrible. The fact that the allocation is completely random is a joke.
I still don't like, and I definitely think I'm not in the... I think I'm in the majority on this one. I think that primes themselves are a great idea. Like the scheme of having a character, having a second version, that either is a different character or a different take on the character. That's awesome. But the rarity placement that they've given them in the last few sets is god awful.
They should never count as a chase.
They're doubling the amount of chases, but not doubling the amount of chases. So it's just it's a ripoff. I mean, it is.
It's blatant money grabbing,
And when people, but for some reason in people's heads, they don't trigger in their head that Prime is basically the same rarity as a Chase. Like, they don't think about it. It's clever, actually.
Because it's called a common.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's actually clever. On WizKids' part.
Those WizKids marketing execs know what they're doing.
But
it's weird because, you're going to get the common primes are worth so much less than, the super rare primes.
So, anyways, I just thought I would update on Iron Man allocation and the word kind of around. This week we saw the release of the AVX starter sets. We saw the release of, again, the main set of Iron Man.
I'm wearing 5 rings right now.
If you
He's wearing 5 rings, folks.
Oh yeah, Austin's got his gaudy, girly Iron Man rings on now.
My sexy Mandarin rings.
They're really dumb looking, by the way.
Our store owner was kind of teasing him. It was pretty funny.
It was pretty fun.
As far as the AVX starters, I'm going to be doing a YouTube, or I might get these guys to join me, doing a YouTube, another starter review on those guys, showing you what all comes in them, and whether we think that it's worth you shelling out the $40 that it costs to get. I don't know, I may have you guys on camera because I chipped my tooth today.
I'm not gonna lie, I've been sitting over here and every time you open your mouth I laugh because I keep seeing it and it reminds me. It's pretty bad.
I'm trying to get in the habit of keeping my mouth closed every time I smile and talking without opening my mouth very wide.
He looks like he's from Kentucky now, ladies and gentlemen.
Shut up. I was playing racquetball today and I swung, hit a shot. The racket came back around and hit me in the mouth. Now that kind of thing happens all the time, but I just perfectly hit the wrong angle.
That's what always happens when you
because it didn't even bust my lip open. I had my mouth closed when it happened. I just happened to hit the right perfect little angle to make that tooth chip off. And I hit the shot though. That's all that matters. It was a good fucking shot. It was worth the chipped tooth. So I'm gonna have to get that fixed pretty soon. But hey, maybe I'll.
Well, we're just lucky this is a podcast, not a video cast.
Screw it, I'll go on the video. That'll be the first shot. It'll be the little thumbnail on the video, just to be me cheesing with my tooth chipped.
I like the AVX starters. I mean, we picked ours up today. Drew got his today.
Yeah,
too.
I did.
I like them. I mean, the sculpts are really good. These are some of my favorite sculpts they've done so far with just the general Avengers characters and stuff.
The dice turned out way better than I thought.
There was a guy playing the dice tonight. They didn't seem loaded like the Blitzkrieg dice.
That's good.
I think I'm going to go through actually and repaint some of mine because the Iron Man, the paint's off a little bit. It looks kind of goofy, but...
So we'll be doing an in-depth review on our YouTube channel on the starter sets.
Actually, on the starter sets, there was something that one of the guys said tonight that was kind of funny. There's a reason that they don't have Spider-Man and Wolverine as the poker chips. Because they don't have the rights to make poker chips with those characters on them.
Oh, because Sony.
Fox and Sony own those two characters.
Huh.
Because they own all the merchandising rules for materials like that.
So what about the X-Men set? Who's on the faces of the X-Men?
It's the one straight from the kit. But that's what's weird about it, because I don't know... Someone brought that up tonight, because it is odd that it is only Spider-Man and Wolverine that don't have chips.
Yeah.
It's Red Hulk, which Red Hulk's not in a set till the Deadpool set, and Black Panther. So, I mean, it was funny, and it was brought up, and
Red Hulk's also not in the starter in...
Yeah, he's not in the LEs or anything.
Yeah, so anyways. He was a big character in AVX.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked he wasn't in the starter, actually.
So... Like I said, in-depth review, it'll be on our YouTube channel pretty soon. We got some spoilers from Superman Legion of Superheroes that are actually like I said at the top of this podcast, got a lot of people more excited for this set, myself included.
I wasn't excited for this set, but these spoilers get me a little excited for it.
We got Cosmic Boy. He has Indom and a flight symbol with 8 range.
And the silliest name I've ever heard.
The coolest thing about this guy is his attack power and his damage power are both really good. His attack power, you give him a power action and he can use TK twice as a free action. When he has 2 action tokens, he can use TK for free. So he's kind of like Magneto...
From AVX.
He's Magneto Jr.
Yeah.
No, from GSX.
Oh, yeah.
So the free action TK was pretty dang good.
Oh, yeah.
And with 2 tokens, and he has Indom. So...
Yep.
Also, the power action version is going to be nice at the beginning of the turn to get your guys into position.
Yeah.
Like I was talking about hammers just now, that himself could get 2 guys out ready to drop hammers.
That's a 90-point hammer.
He's value.
He's a wild card. All the Legion of Superheroes are wild cards, but they also created a special ATA on the cards for Legion of Superheroes, just like they did for some of the Iron
Legion
Man.
Founder ones.
Yeah, just for the original guy, the OGs of the Legion of the
OG.
LOSH. The ATA reads, at the beginning of the game, place a Founder token on the card of each character that can use this team ability. When a character with the Legion of Superheroes keyword makes an attack after all rerolls, you may remove Founder tokens to increase the attack roll by +1 for each removed token. And that's only 3 points. And I didn't really think about it before, but I just realized you could wildcard this too and get more tokens, because at the beginning of the game, place a Founder token on the character card of each that can use this team ability. So you don't have to possess it. So you could wildcard and get more tokens, get a token on each person who could wildcard.
But wildcards don't... That's at the beginning of the game. Wildcards wouldn't begin until after the start.
When you build it... Yeah, but they can still use it. The wildcard can use the team ability.
Yeah, but I thought wildcards were once you start... After the game started, you copy TAs with it.
It is, but they still have the ability to use it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So I mean, that's definitely going to get asked on from the rules forums. But I don't see why with the wording you couldn't be able to give them tokens. Now they did specify on the second part you wouldn't be able to do it, because the second part specifies when a character with the LOSH keyword makes an attack. So you couldn't do it on the attack of your wildcard person.
And see, that's what's funny is the Legion Founder ATA works for anyone with Legion Founder, but the ability itself will trigger for anyone with Legion of Superheroes.
For anyone who's a wild card, which all the regular Legion of Superheroes are. They're all wild cards. So a Founder...
No, it's keyword.
Yeah. But I'm saying... Right, I see what you're saying. But what I'm saying is if you can wild card this...
I see what you're saying.
You can play it with other...
based on the team ability.
Yeah, you can play it with other Legion of Superheroes guys, and even if they don't possess the ATA, you can copy it, because every Legion has the Legion team ability, which is wildcard.
People in the forums were talking about how well that works with the Disintegration Beam Ring, because the Disintegration Beam Ring is based on having your roll be 10 or higher. This directly adds to your roll. So you can remove these tokens to force a 10 from a 7, which is huge.
And what's great about this is it clearly notes after all rerolls, because what would suck is if you
spend it all and then
you spend it all and they prob it, and you're like, well, shit.
His damage ability is leadership. When he does, all characters with Legion keyword are considered a lower point value.
Very good.
As far as the rest of his dial, he has energy shield and barrier most of the time, and running shot and force blast. In cap. I mean, he's got an
8 range outwit down.
He is a pretty good piece. I think I'm going to definitely...
For 90 points with Indom and all that, like he's a steal. Like I can see myself playing this figure.
Yeah, I'm going to try him. He has the same sculpt as Havoc. It's kind of a remake. Saturn Girl is also really good. She has a special mind control. If she has no tokens, she can use it as a free action. When she uses mind control, she is not dealt unavoidable from it, and increases her attack value +1 for each token assigned to her target. So she's kind of like Brother Voodoo.
She's more like a Sister Voodoo.
Sister Voodoo, let's say.
Or you could mind control and then pull a token off of her and do it again.
But she can use mind control, and so she could,
so she could use it normally as well.
Yes.
So
yeah, she could do what Brother Voodoo can't. She has Psychic Blast and Super Senses at the beginning with Perplex. She has either Perplex or Enhancement full dial, and she gets Psychic Blast and Precision Strike. So I like this piece a lot.
Good. 94 points. She's really
94 points, again, wild card. No Indom on this, but she does have 8 range. 8 range mind control with for free. I mean, heck.
And no
you don't even take damage.
You could keep her at range and just free action mind control each turn. And not even have to take a token until you really need to. Then once you need to Psychic Blast, then Psychic Blast.
Once again, she's 8 range Perplex too, which is always nice. And Enhancement.
So we've had a Magneto Jr., now we got Sister Voodoo. Lightning Lad is basically Electro Lad. He has a power that's very reminiscent of our friend the ASM Electro, although Lightning Lads doesn't start until click 3. It's Arc Lightning. Give him a power action, make a ranged combat attack against a single target using his printed damage value. Now this one they
updated
worded way more precisely than they did Electro when he initially came out. You make an attack using your damage value. Each time that he hits, after actions resolve, so they'll take the damage first, he may then make a ranged combat attack as a free action against another single target, as if he occupied the previously hit character square.
Also, that fixes problems with Electro KOing someone that it ends instantly.
Against another single, as if he occupied the previous hit character square, replacing his range value with his printed range minus the number of hits he has made this turn with this power. And he also uses his printed damage value. So you don't have to go down in damage every time you hit. It's just all regular attacks. And they specified that you're getting a ranged combat attack, not an action. So he can't use his Psychic Blast. However, he does have it in conjunction with Precision Strike for the last 3 clicks, which you could do that.
Think about that. And
you could Force Blast, which you could also Force Blast each time if you wanted to.
You could reach even farther that way by hitting someone, Force Blasting back on 3, and then bounce to someone that you couldn't normally get to.
So he's going to be a little tricky. He's 104 points. He's a little costly.
Yeah, no end on.
No end on, but he is a great ranged attacker. Even at the start, he's got a running shot, Psychic Blast with 11 attack, 3 damage, RCE.
And that Legion Founder ATA is great for this character because it makes sure you complete your chains.
Yep, good point.
I really like him. I was going to say overall, there was a discussion on HC Realms I wanted to bring up with you guys and see your opinions on it. People were saying there was a big debate over whether reusing quote-unquote powers like they've done with these 3 is a problem or not. And personally, I don't have a problem with it. Like, I think if it fits the character and they do it well, I mean, like, there's enough flavor with the other powers.
As long as it's only, like, 3 or less that have it, then why not? Especially because this is also a different universe. This is a DC character.
Yeah.
I'm going to say no, I don't have a problem with it. A, because it's a different universe, and B, that this is slightly better in terms of wording. And
it's much better in terms of wording.
And precision.
God, Electro was one of the most debated figures on ASM. Like, that figure caused so many trouble.
I like him. I think he's an excellent sealed piece.
Yeah, he's
personally.
great.
I'm personally on board with his top click alone. I mean, running shot pin or an option to RCE, and he's a wild card. I mean, like, you could take, even if you were cross-universe playing, you could take Avengers Initiative or Superman Ally, and you could freaking just tear up with him. I mean, we're bound to get a Superman that has Superman Ally that leads SLOSH or something like that in this set to combo with that.
If there were only this hammer that gave willpower, darn.
Yeah, I don't think I want a hammer that gives running shot willpower, Drew.
I think that'd be a little broken.
It's
Why
a
would they make
horrible
something
idea.
like that?
We also got the mystical elf.
Oh, Jesus.
I really like this figure.
From Yu-Gi-Oh! He, or she, I should say,
It's a chick.
can be played for 50 points for the click style or for 7 points for the trapped version. She has 2 special powers. An attack power. At the beginning of your turn, you may roll a d6 that cannot be re-rolled. On a 4 to 6, heal an adjacent character 1 click.
50% every turn just to heal someone 1 click? That's awesome for...
It's ridiculous.
It's free action, too.
Yeah.
Then she has a damage ability of prop control and support.
With a 10
and
attack.
a 10 attack already on that.
Donald Blake, eat your heart out.
She's only 50 points. She has a 50-50 chance of healing you 1 click already. And then she has the support with a 10 attack and prop control on top of that.
She is Silver Ring, though. So, I mean, like...
Well, I'm glad she's...
Yeah. She'd be ridiculous if she wasn't.
She's a 18 defense barrier as well, so she's an excellent support piece. It looks like a super rare, though, right?
Gold,
044 gold, so she's going to be hard to come by, but she's pretty dang good.
And then her trap and spell abilities are great, too.
We've talked about trap and spell before. They're pretty dang confusing. I'll just read the ones that she gets particularly. Her spell is give the set character a power action. The set character can use prob, but only for its own attack rolls. When the set character misses with an attack, remove the spell.
So basically,
you can prob, but once you miss, you're done. Like, the spell's done.
But see, like, and what's cool about that, though, is you pay 7 points to put that on their card from the start, and they just need a power action to do it. Like, I can think of some characters that's amazingly useful on right now with, like, low attack values but really good utility abilities.
Yeah, but see, the problem is going to be, like it's saying, like that last line, when the set character misses with an attack, remove the spell, so you're not going to get it anymore. So you got to make sure that when you use that, you can't just swing for a 10 and then prob it, because if you miss it again, then you're not getting that prob anymore
exactly.
for the rest of the game. So don't use it. You need to be intelligent with it, is basically what I'm saying. I would more use it as a, oh shit, I rolled a crit miss or a 3. This will bail me out for 7 points. You know what I mean? Her trap is Skull Dice. When the set character would be KO'd, you may activate this trap. Deal 1 unavoidable damage to each opposing character 150 points or more within 6 squares. Then remove the trap. So as your character dies off, they deal 1 unavoidable to each 150 plus character within 6 squares. That's not bad for 7 points either.
I'd pair that with all my zombies in a big horde, and then every time you pop a zombie, boom, 1 unavoidable. Boom, 1 unavoidable.
What about playing it on an extremist brute who is already going to blow up and destroy, pulse wave everybody in range?
But basically, the trap system's not bad. It's just when the character dies, you pick one of the 2 clicks, and you put it on someone else's card upside down, and then you can either choose a power action to activate it, or if they die, it activates if it's a trap.
So can you... Let's see, when this character code or when building... Yeah, or when building your force.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say I like the option. It's almost like they're almost like little mini ATAs.
Yeah,
you know?
I feel like they're kind of like feats in a way almost.
Exactly. This is a different way of doing feats.
The only thing I was just thinking about the skull dice part, the trap part. I was like, man, I'm gonna run that on all my zombies for 7 points. I'd rather have 32-point zombies that guarantee damage. Then I forgot she's Silver Ring, and I think that'll also apply with her as a trap.
That is it for news. Slow week for news, but that's alright because we got lots.
Monday, hallelujah.
Yeah, we got lots of Mage Knight to talk about, Drew.
What are we talking about?
Talking about that Mage Knight.
Yes.
Gonna get that Lord of the Rings. Gonna
No.
get that Mage Knight.
Yeah.
These ladies have been so excited for this set.
Okay.
So let's save our praise for the end when we sum things up.
Okay.
Let's just go through these dials objectively and talk about how good they are, and we'll kind of keep track of the best ones.
And how biased you guys are for all these. I'm just messing with you.
We will also read each of the different TAs. So, for those who are unfamiliar with Mage Knight, they created team abilities for, I think there's 6 different ones.
There's 6 or 7.
I think there's 6. We'll see them as we go through. We'll talk about them. Each team ability is really cool. And most of them trigger off of like leaders. Like you choose a leader who's like the highest point, and then you get things based off of that.
Yeah, almost all this set's commons actually are all generics pretty much.
That's what I was going to say. We'll talk about that
Actually,
all
the commons are all
All of them?
Yeah,
all
every
the
single
commons.
one.
Oh man, that's beautiful.
That makes it so much better when you're buying this.
I know.
But we'll talk about that at the end. First, we're going to go through the dials. Mage Spawn is the first team ability that comes up. At the beginning of the game, choose a friendly character with the highest point value to be this team's master. If a character using this TA is within 4 squares of the master, when the master is given a move action, the character using this team ability may be given a move action as a free action. Uncopyable. So, like I said in my starter review, this kind of gives you move and attack.
I love it. I mean, like, honestly, I wish they... And I'll bring this up as we go through here. Some of these TAs I really want to see in the main universe stuff. Like, I feel like that could be a good, like, sub-TA for, like... Even like something simple like
anything. I mean, that can go on anything,
like
especially in characters,
special forces or something.
Yeah, characters who have like bosses. You know what I mean? It's almost okay. It's not move and attack because you can't do it whenever you want to. You know, you have to have your main guy. But the plus side, there's no stipulation on how far you can move. You're getting your full movement,
and that's great for mastermind characters. Because those mastermind characters are constantly moving and bringing their whole mastermind fodder with them.
It's also great because you'll notice in this set there's not a lot of flyers or carriers.
There's not.
So this TA, if you think about the beginning of the game, all your guys are going to be within 4 of the leader. Mm-hmm. So when the leader moves, they're all going to get to move without taking action tokens.
Oh, yeah.
So beginning of the game, it's going to save you lots of actions. So the reason I bring it up, it's on Moonborn Dunewolf, who has a trait of stealth, and when he occupies hindering, he can use flurry. Not bad. He has
45
plasticity, only 45 points. He has plasticity, 3 clicks of charge, and some more plasticity. And he only has reflexes and willpower on defense. He only has like 8 attack and a 7 attack. His attack values are pretty crappy. He's only 45 points. I don't think he's that great. As out of the rest of the set, he's one of the weaker pieces overall.
He's definitely not one of the best pieces, but he's good on a mage spawn team, and you're probably going to run at least one because he's a good tie-up piece.
And he's cheap, too.
Well, yeah, and you're getting a free move out of a plasticity character.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, even if the boss only moves back and forward one just to cause all these wolves to go into position, like, that alone's worth it.
Yep.
I mean, technically, if you really break it down, you could move them a full 14 in one turn by doing the free move, moving them out, then power action, moving them another 7. I mean, like, that's pretty... For 45 points, that's not terrible. His dial's terrible, but...
I wouldn't use the word terrible.
The TA in conjunction with his plasticity and his combat reflexes makes him useful. Number 2 is Dwarven Axe Shield. I actually really like this guy. And he has a dwarf keyword, so he's...
You can play with Lord of the Rings.
I've already got a dwarf team lined up. Big dwarf team. He's got some sidestep, quake, and a defense power of toughness. Once per turn, when he or his leader takes damage from a ranged attack, roll a d6 on a result of 5 to 6, deal 1 damage to the attacker. So you have a chance, either
like
you or your leader takes damage. You can make him take 1 damage.
Well, he has the mercenary TA.
Now, it's not penetrating damage that you're dealing to the attacker, so you got to.
But you're going to be playing Mage Knight, so
yeah, there's not a whole lot of dampeners.
Yeah.
Mercenary team ability is at the beginning of the game. Choose blah blah blah. Choose a leader. I'm just going to call it choose a leader. A character using this TA modifies its defense +1 when within 4 squares of its leader. So that's a good TA.
I mean,
and
you could run a bunch of these guys with a Gimli. Be like, hey, Gimli, you're now king of the dwarfs. And then,
I already have it. And Gimli has power actions to give like everybody CCE and everybody this and everybody that. It's going to be sick.
I like him. I mean, like...
He's not amazing.
But when you first crack these, like, the sculpt is great. Like, I love this little figure.
He's not amazing, but he's not... He's good.
He's just like the Moonborn Dune Wolf. You know, he works well with the rest of his team, which is going to be a running theme with these mages.
No, this guy's good.
Next guy, Skeleton Skullwalker. Now, this guy actually, really, honestly...
I told you, he's good.
We talked about him because this is one of the ones they spoiled.
Yeah.
This guy's sick nasty.
He's got Mage Spawn keyword. Team ability.
He's got that nasty trait, Drew. What's it do?
You give him a move action, and after action's resolved, place a hindering terrain marker in the square that remains on the map until Skeleton Skullwalker no longer occupies the square. He ignores the marker for movement purposes.
So what's he got on them first 4 clicks?
He's got stealth.
He's got stealth that he carries around with him.
Yes, he does.
And he doesn't worry about it when he moves. And he has exploit weakness. And he has that
Mage Spawn team.
That Mage Spawn team ability that lets him move for free already.
He's pretty damn good.
He can get wherever he needs to go for free, staying stealth, and then exploit in your face, all over your face.
He's just good.
He's got mid-dial Invincible.
That was going to be my next point. On a 55-point piece, you're getting mid-dial Invincible, which is nuts.
It's pretty nuts.
I can't imagine like some guy's like, I'm going to pick off the rest of these minions. I'm going to hit them for like 4. And then it's like, nope, Invincible 2.
And then he regions back up to Invincible. By the way, he has blades.
He has blades when he has Invincible too, while he still has stealth.
So for the set, he's a great piece.
He's pretty great.
One of the better cheap guys.
What are his keywords? Warrior, monster. Oh, he's got monster and warrior. Son, that's so awesome.
Sandressen Windsman is one that got spoiled beforehand also. 40
this
points.
was one I really liked.
40 points with the Mercenary TA, which is the one that gives +1 defense. Has a special movement power, Flurry and Force Blast. When he uses Force Blast, subtract 3 from the D6 roll, minimum of 1.
Oh wait, this isn't the one I thought.
You're not going to use him for
you're not going to use that. But on those 3 clicks that he has Flurry, he has Precision Strike.
Flurry, Precision Strike.
That's worth it. I'm trying to think, what piece was it that I played Flurry? It was the Sif from the starter set. The Sif from the starter set has Precision Strike and Flurry together at the same time. Yeah. And it was very useful. I mean, I was playing against the Odin, Ellie, and it was another big points. It was one of the Thors from the Thor set. They like all had impervious, and Sif was just Flurry, hitting you for 1, like every turn, chipping them away.
One of these weeks, our Just the Tip's going to be about how ridiculous Precision Strike is in combat with other things. because I've had so many rounds with Precision Strike Flurry or Energy Explosion Flurry, or Precision Strike and Energy Explosion together.
Let's say, how's that work?
The new Detroit Steel.
Breaking the laws of
The new
physics.
Detroit Steel has Energy Explosion Precision Strike, and even though he only has one bolt, that's amazing. Like, it's so good.
What sucks is top dial, he doesn't have that. He does have willpower top dial.
And Blades for 40 points.
Yeah, so I think I would move him in with my guys, and then I would push him onto the
definitely.
Precision Strike Flurry. And he has a reflexes of 7 with 15, so 17
He's got water movement, too.
from melee. I like for 40 points.
He's pretty good.
For
He's
40
value.
points, those 3 clicks in the middle are just nasty. This guy and the Skeleton so far are 2 really good commons. Altum Sentinel. I actually pulled 3 of these guys, and I lost one of them on the way home somehow. He's 50 points. He has a new team ability we haven't talked about yet. Phoenix Concord. Once per turn, when the power or ability of a character using this TA or an adjacent friendly character would be countered, roll a d6. On a 5 to 6, the power ability is not countered. So this is like
Society for Friends.
It's better than Society, though, like I said when they spoiled this guy, because his part where it says, or a character, or an adjacent friendly character. It doesn't say that adjacent has to have the keyword.
Mm-hmm.
So he can give any big points piece that can be outwitted. I mean, there's a million examples of when you see a big 200-point piece and it's real badass, and you're like,
wait till we get down to
like-
those SRs down here.
yeah, and it's like, oh, well, he could be outwitted. Not now, not when this little guy's next to him.
Now it's once per turn. See, I was going to say, is it once per turn per character or just once per turn total?
When the power ability of a character using this team ability, it's probably once per turn total, but we'll have to look it up. This guy has full dial plasticity in conjunction with that nasty trait, Drew.
When a character fails to break away from Altum Sentinel, deal that character 1 damage. Now,
Deal with me. For 50 points, you're going to deal with me.
you're gonna do it.
It's not worth trying to break away.
You're just gonna do it. You don't want to break away,
6
because if you don't hit that 6, you done, son.
But Hunter, what's that? If you do pop one of these guys for 3, what do they land on? Exploit plasticity. So then you're going to get to swing in on this person with exploit.
The only thing that really sucks is that it's not 1 penetrating damage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
A good cool thing is running swarms of these guys. Is that what you're going to bring up?
yeah.
Go ahead.
Well,
You had your finger up. I didn't see it.
no.
long
Go
enough.
ahead. Go ahead.
Run a swarm of these guys. Tie somebody up. If they are stupid enough to try to break away, then they're going to take 1 from each person who is basing them. So they take like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And if you have a good outwit in the middle of them or someone like up above that can outwit the person's defense, they all of a sudden just took 3.
They
4.
also have Phoenix Council keyword or Concord keyword, which has a piece that does some things we'll get to later.
The one thing I do want to bring up is this is very important for... It's easy to forget sometimes that when you outwit defense, it lasts till your next turn. This is a set where that's going to matter a lot because there's a lot of damage on your opponent's turn effects. We've already seen a few of them on 3 of these minions now. I mean,
Goblin Pillager belongs to my favorite faction, I think, Ascendant TA. Which, I was thinking the other day, the little image for this team ability, it looks like Akuma's hair.
yeah, it does.
This team ability is pretty sick.
It's the same one as the Klingon, isn't it?
It's an offensive team ability. When a character using it modifies its attack value by +1 when they have 1 action token.
Yeah, it's the Klingon team ability from the Star Trek Tactics. I love this team ability.
This guy's really cool. I mean, he's not amazing for 40 points. He just has a really cool little power set. He has leap climb, and he has improved movement, can move through squares adjacent to opposing characters, but still needs a breakaway. But basically when he moves in, he has the benefits of flight. And he has a special attack power that gives him super strength. And when he moves through, he can pick up objects held by adjacent opposing characters. Remember, he doesn't have to stop on them, so he can just move through your swarm of guys.
Hey, Hulk, let me borrow that tank turret.
Take all their objects from them. And then when he does so, he can choose one of the 2 objects he's holding and remove it from the game.
And see, this is actually really good for a 40-point Silver Age figure because right now what people are doing is they're using super strength characters to carry lanterns with the new PAC rules. So you could go buy you could have a light object, jack-o'-lantern, no pun intended, from someone's
Jack-o'-lantern.
hand, and then choose to destroy the lantern and remove it from game.
You know, I'm disappointed in you that you didn't intend that pun because it would have been pretty dang good.
Yeah, it would have been good.
But alas, he already said he didn't.
He didn't intend it.
Screw you guys.
Next is Zombie Shambler.
Who is really good.
He has the Mage Knight team ability. He has improves movement, ignores hindering, and he has another trait. Whenever an opposing character takes damage from him, roll a d6. On a 5 to 6, he gets outwit, but only to target that character. So you got a 45-point piece that has a chance of getting outwit. He has willpower, and he
5
has
range EE.
the special damage ability of adjacent opposing characters modify defense values -1. Just like that Roy Raymond I like so much on my capture teams.
See, what I like about him in Mage Knight is, once again, with the lack of dampeners and stuff, all you got to do is pop somebody with that energy explosion once and hit like 2 other people, and you're almost guaranteed to be able to outwit one of them.
Well, that's something I wanted to bring up. You're like 5 range, 9 attack, energy explosion. It's not that good. It's not that good. But
A 45-point figure.
in Mage Knight, it's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Because a lot of these pieces, you'll notice as we go through, most of them have no range, or they're super range focused. They're like the faction leaders, and they're like 8 range double bolt sharpshooter. But there's only like 1 or 2 of those guys in this whole set.
Yeah, and this
there's not
guy's
much range at all.
This guy's set up the way I like him. Range top heavy, and then they drop into melee. He gets Steel Energy
I was going to
Exploit
say,
down
Steel
there.
Energy Exploit on the last 3 clicks is pretty nice.
But see, what's cool is as Mage spawn, you use a horde of these guys.
Mhm.
You use some of them to tie up to drop the enemy's defense, which, once again, already low defense. You're dropping them even lower. And then the ones in the back are freaking pinging them. And then you drop them on Exploit Steel Energy.
So he's not too bad inside of this set. Gaslight Sword Brother, we liked a lot when they first
He
spoiled him.
is
Is this the one that
might
does
be
the...
one of my favorite pieces.
Yeah, this was the one that was
He
probably my
basically
favorite.
has the pounce feat. He has improved movement, ignores characters, and he has a special movement ability. He has flurry, and when he does, he can use sidestep immediately before making the second attack. So he can use flurry, and if he wants to go hit somebody else, he can.
And
he also gets 2 clicks of empower mid-dial.
You forgot to mention he ignores characters.
I did at the beginning.
Okay.
I did, however, forget to mention that there is one click. There's one click where he has blades with that as well.
It's ridiculous.
So,
Blades and Empower. So you get a horde of these bastards together and just...
for only 45 points, he gives you lots of bang for the buck. One of the better generics. Probably the best generic we went over so far. Him
I
and
like
the
this
skeleton.
guy.
Wolfkin Raider belongs to the Ascendant, which is the +1 attack with an action token. Now, he's 75 points. So he's a little pricier than some of these other guys, but he has plasticity most of his dial. He has 17 reflexes for the first couple clicks. 19 defense is really good in this set.
The one thing I do want to bring up about Ascendant is most of the figures that have Ascendant don't have willpower. So you're kind of pushing them for that you're pushing them when you do it, but you're pushing them for that extra 1 attack as well. which
The
is kinda
Ascendant are the orcs, and they're very... like almost everything else where there's an orc faction, they're all blitzkrieg. You know what I mean? Like that's why I think I'm going to
They
play
go
this
in
guy.
axes swinging. They don't give a damn about their own safety.
He has a trait. So like I said, plasticity with a 19 defense is really freaking good in this set alone. Late dial, he gets toughness and willpower. He'll lose the reflexes. But for the first 4 clicks,
But
he's a 19 or an 18 from melee trying to hit him.
Toughness is pretty good in this set,
which
though,
is
because
nuts.
a lot of characters don't even have that.
And he gets 4 clicks of CCE in the middle as well.
Yep.
Then he has a trait. After a friendly character within 4 squares in line of fire takes damage from a close combat attack and actions resolve, you can place Wolfkin Raider in a square adjacent to the attacker or the target, which could be useful,
Oh, yeah.
especially considering he has plasticity.
Well, I was going to say plasticity, yeah.
So you could place him in key areas where his plasticity will help you a lot.
Okay, now here's my question with this. If someone hypersonics and this guy suddenly is placed next to them with plasticity, how would that operate? Would they still be able to finish moving away?
After a friendly character within...
Oh, no, because it's
It
like...
wouldn't matter because this is after actions resolved. The hypersonic
Oh, yeah,
person's
that's right.
already
Yeah.
going to get away, and then you put him next to him.
But then you could also stop them from hypersonicking again.
So he's pretty good for 75 points. Next is Shift Ravager, who's 60 points. He has the Mage Spawn team ability as well, the one that lets you move. He has 4 clicks of stealth and a special attack power of poison and smoke cloud. And he has also, on top of the stealth, when it's not your turn, lines of fire drawn to him when he occupies hindering or water terrain are hindered. So he's stealthed in water and in hindering. And again, he has the dolphin, so he ignores water. he has that poison and smoke cloud on top of a 16 with combat reflexes. So you got an 18 reflexes with poison. Like we said, a lot of pieces in the set don't have dampener, so that poison is a lot better in this set only. And he has 2 clicks or 2 damage exploit weakness.
And then CCE after.
And then for the last 4 clicks, he gets CCE and he gets poison again on his last 2 clicks. So he's just tie up poison, stay alive, be annoying as hell, and make you take
the
poison.
brute monster and shift. I'm liking all these monsters. I mean, these are some good monster figures. I mean, like, they're not, like, amazing in main universe stuff.
Well,
but
they're good because they're low point options. Low point
And the Mage
options
spawn.
are always really, really fun.
and Mage Spawn's always great.
Dominion Pact. Let me read something on Mage Spawn. Does your leader have to have the team ability?
Nope.
Holy crap.
I know, that's what makes it so great.
That's why Mage Spawn is...
And that's that's what's great about a lot of these minions is you could play some of these
That's
minions.
why mercenaries like that, too, because they're mercenaries.
Yeah, so the leader doesn't have to have the team ability.
And so, like, in Silver Age games, you could run these guys with whatever you wanted.
The next guy, I think this is probably my second favorite faction. The next guy is Bonebreaker Shaman. He's 80 points, but he is basically one of the best, probably the best support piece for his points in the entire game. Because he has top dial, TK, barrier, perplex, and support with 8 range. In this set,
Yeah,
that's nuts.
pretty
And
good.
then Dominion Pact TA.
The Dominion Pact team ability is when an opposing characters within 4 squares is KO'd. Characters using this TA are healed 1 damage.
It's better on their actual damaging pieces than it is on him, though.
Now, so top dial, he's all support. Got the TK, the barrier, the perp, and support. But then for the next 3 clicks, he gets Psychic Blast with that 8 range, which in this set, 8 range is nuts. Especially with Psychic Blast. When an opposing character takes damage from his attack, and the result of the attack is doubles, the target can't move until your next turn. Not something you want to base your strategy around, but it'll be nice when it happens.
Yeah.
Takes damage from taking. Yeah, it's not something to rely on, but if you think about it, the fact he's a generic and you could run multiples of this guy if you really wanted to, you could just TK them into position and just keep throwing attacks down range and locking down your opponent.
Next is Norwas, who's an uncommon. Now, he's 100 points, and here's another new faction, Council of the Mists. A character using this TA. Now, this TA is going to be confusing. We already talked about it before. A character using it can use prob, but only during your turn. And if the reroll does not have at least 1 dice with a 1 or a 6, the reroll is ignored. So Austin brought up a good point a long time ago.
Does that mean it just fails, or does that mean it goes back to the previous roll amount?
It would mean, I would think it would go back to the original roll. So you brought up a good point. When you play Council of the Mist, you bring 2 sets of dice.
Yeah, you got to remember what you rolled on.
And when you use this team ability, you bring out your second set of dice to roll. And that way, if you don't get a 1 to 6, then you look at your old dice and say, okay, this is what the original attack was. So that way, let's say, well, he only has 1 bolt. So really, for him, it won't matter. But let's say you had one of these guys with 2 bolts, and you roll, and you're like, well, I hit one guy, but I missed the other one. I really want to hit that other one. I'll go ahead and prob it.
Yeah, he'll take the shot.
Yeah, and then you roll, and you miss both. But you don't get a 1 or 6. You're like, hey, I'll take this.
It's a cool TA. I feel like it needs clarified a little. I can see myself running Council of Mist teams, though. We'll get to some of the bigger pieces later.
I don't think it needs clarified. You just got to make, like we said, you got to make sure you bring 2 dice, because other than that, you're going to be like, well, what did you originally roll? And then there's going to be arguments.
Like the fact on what exactly does it mean when a reroll is ignored. That's really what I just want clarification on that. Because, I can see both sides of this being debated.
I think it just means, like, it never happened. So you would go with your original roll.
I'm inclined to agree with Hunter.
Anyways, go ahead and talk about this guy, because that range for this...
Okay, he's 100 points. He's got 9 range and Indom. Okay. With sharpshooter.
And running shot, which I don't think we've seen. Have we seen running shot yet?
No.
No.
Actually, we had Bonebreaker Shaman, I think, has it. And,
Bonebreaker had
I don't think he did.
No, someone had it.
I think you're wrong, Drew.
I think I'm right.
I think you're wrong. I want to look.
I think someone had it.
You're wrong.
Drew's wrong.
Wrong. It's wrong.
Denard.
Anyways, go ahead.
I must have been thinking of TK. Anyway, he gets a 10 movement running shot with 9 range, which is just stupid.
11 attack in this set.
Super senses and his damage ability, which is leadership and perplex. When he uses perplex, he may only target a character from whom he removed an action token this turn, but he may Modify combat value by +2.
Son, I like that a lot.
So even though he's a generic, he's kind of a little leader guy too.
He's useful, yeah.
Well, you know what though?
I don't think he's generic.
Who other?
He's generic.
Yeah, he's generic.
He's supposed to signify the elite guard or something.
Who other of Council of the Mist is cheaper than him? Oh, Techno Shockers. Okay, so the only ones...
Techno Shockers would be good with that.
Don't you bring Techno Shocker into this yet.
We'll get to him.
Council of the Mist are all, I noticed, all expensive point
Yes,
pieces.
they are.
But they're good for their points. So you got these other armies, you got the Mage Spawn armies and the Mercenary armies who are swarm teams. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Ascendant's kind of a mix. There's a lot of high point orc guys, but there's also a few generics. These Council of Mist guys they're mostly ranged, but they're expensive. They're like 100. Most of them are 100 or more.
Mm-hmm.
But they're dang good.
He's really good
for this set. So yeah, he has to hit the leadership on the Techno Shocker before he can use Perplex.
Yeah,
but then when he does, he gets +2 on that. Techno Shocker already.
We'll get to Techno Shocker.
I'm so excited for Techno Shocker. Like this is the faction I want.
And now we get to our first.
So Norwas is definitely going on our best so far. Arethea is pretty cool. Dominion Pact, which is the team ability that lets you heal a damage when somebody's KO'd near you. 100 points, 18 defense willpower is pretty dang good with support.
With support.
So another good support piece. Now this one actually has an epic action.
First epic action.
For each character on your force that takes damage before your next turn, place a ritual token on her card. So it said for each. So if multiple people, you get one for each one. At the beginning of your next turn, deal damage equal to the number of ritual tokens on her card to a target opposing character. Maximum damage 1 per 200 points of the game's build.
I love that. Like that's
pretty cool.
So cool. Like I can already think of like
there's no line of fire or range thing on that either. It's just straight.
Think about it with tons of generics and stuff. With some of these characters that are flurrying or energy explosioning,
I would say
like you could just rack up 5 tokens and drop them on somebody.
I mean, you run her with a bunch of the little cheap mercenary guys. Let them go in, sidestep flurry, screw everything up. You know, you run 4 or 5 of them.
The plasticity.
They're gonna get hit. Yeah, and then she's like, guess what? Payback, motherfucker.
And seeing what's great about that is some of the later, like, big pieces usually have super senses, and that's not an attack. So you're talking about drilling somebody for 5 damage that they can't avoid, and you could do that in almost, I don't want to say almost one shot, but you could knock a major character down dial with that.
She also has a traded end cap when she does after action to resolve. Roll a d6 on a 5 to 6. Their hit target is dealt damage equal to the number of action tokens
that's
on.
Hawkeye.
Yep.
But she's a stealth supporter with a traded end cap, energy explosion, and that awesome epic action for 100 points.
Pretty good.
I love this piece.
I like it a lot too, man. If you could choose multiple characters on that too, it would be even more nuts. So she's pretty dang good.
This next one's probably my favorite piece.
Good old Gold Dicks.
This guy's probably my favorite piece in the set.
He's one of the best sculpts in the set.
Drew is all over this.
Talk about Gold Dicks.
Okay, it's 150 points. He doesn't have end on, but you can give him an epic action. You can choose up to one object per 200 points of the game. For each object, roll a d6 on each result, or on a result of 3 to 6, deal 1 penetrating damage up to 2 opposing characters holding or adjacent to the chosen objects of a chosen object square.
So you basically just make a bunch of objects quake.
Yeah.
For 1 penetrating.
I don't know. I guess it would come in handy if you're playing against a big super strength team, but for 150 points, I'm going to be using that Hypersonic.
Is attack ability.
Hypersonic. Or energy explosion, as if he had 1 target. When he does an action to resolve, end cap as a free action, and he has 7 range.
He's pretty good.
Pretty good for the set.
And then when he goes down dial, look at his ability.
He gets a damage ability at the beginning of your turn. Heal an adjacent friendly character of 1 action. Holy shit!
That's just here.
There's no roll, nothing.
Here you go. Here's your free stuff. Take this heal.
Here's a cool rules thing that I want to point out, just because I'm a junkie and it popped in my head. Oh, and also, somebody, I think it was you, Austin, was asking me about questions about energy explosion when it says it gives you so many targets versus printed and all that stuff. Here's a good example. The guy has 7 range, 2 bolts on his base. Mm-hmm. The attack power says Gold Dix can use energy explosion as if he had one target. When he does an action, tokens removed, blah, blah, blah. So, only part we care about, Gold Dix can use energy explosion as if he had one target. Now, that means when he targets and does the attack, he can only shoot at one person.
Okay, so
however, once it hits,
he can target.
He'll get 2 damage from his 2 bolts on his base. You see what I'm saying?
I don't know how I feel about that.
I know it's kind of confusing. I'm just wanting to point that out to people.
I just don't. I feel like there's a few characters they could have done it cooler. Like there's some characters I'd like would get like a big rocket that blows up for 3 damage and stuff like that.
Yeah, I just wanted to point that out for people because I know that's going to be confusing for a lot of people.
He's got Phoenix Concord too.
This guy's pretty nuts. I mean, he is 150 points, but hypersonic in this set,
It's
9 movement, 7 range. I mean,
3 clicks a region. Hunter, we've talked about how much 2 clicks a region is awesome.
free healing.
He's great.
Plus, he has the team ability that helps him to hopefully not be outwitted. I mean, he's
what are
pretty
you going to do?
dang
Outwit
good.
my hypersonic? Nope.
Next is Tovak. This is my favorite ascending guy. Okay, he's my favorite besides the starter. You guys have looked the starter guy because he's fucking nuts. He's beyond good. I talk about it in the video. This guy,
I've seen it.
Tovak is 150 points. He has charge and he has a special attack power. He can use close combat expert when he does, and he rolls doubles. He deals penetrating.
Ooh.
He already hits hard already. He has 3s and 4s on his damage, the whole dial. He has a traded. When he makes a close combat attack and misses, he can immediately use sidestep.
He's like, oh,
Screw that. I'm getting out of here. He has an epic action. Give him an epic action until your next turn. Modify the damage value of all friendly characters by +1 when they attack a character with a greater point value.
See, and there's no restriction of number of friendly characters based on points or anything like that. It's just flat out, he chooses all friendlies under when they're attacking a character of a higher point value. This is amazing with armies of generics. Like, he would be a great leader piece. And he's got outwit, of course, invul, all that crap.
You know, I might buy another CTD of Mage Knight. Just because I want more... Well, again, I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll talk about it at the end of it. So he has 2 clicks of charge with a special close combat expert penetrating. Outwit for 4 clicks. Indom. Freaking invulnerable and toughness full dial. 2 clicks of flurry mid dial. Then last 3 clicks, he gets freaking super strength and exploit weakness with 10 and 3 damage.
And what I was talking about...
It's like a truck.
You could run him, you outwit some good defensive ability, and all your mercenaries, or all your mage spawn even. He's running into battle and bringing all these little units with him, and they're swinging up a storm.
I just love how he swings, and if he somehow happens to misses, he's like, oh, deuces.
They need to call this the oh shit button.
Skyguard Captain is 100 points. Council of the Mist, which is the prob control special.
Oh my god.
Charge and Flurry.
Charge and Flurry.
First Charge Flurry piece we've seen. And Blades
what
Claws.
can he use?
Charged Flurry Blades. When he does, the attack does not generate knockback. That's good for Flurry.
That's amazing.
It's a problem with Flurry sometimes. The attack does not generate knockback. On a result of 4 to 6, after actions resolve, deal the same amount of damage to an opposing character adjacent to the target, but not to Skyguard Captain. So somebody behind him.
So he swings through either at one of the angles or straight ahead.
And that's after actions resolve. So you could actually do it twice. I mean, since he has Flurry at the same time too.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
He has the blades, his entire dial.
He has the blades his entire.
He has Charge Flurry first 3 clicks, then regular Flurry.
Blades
willpower.
Blades rolls can be rerolled, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Council.
So his Council,
and then he rolls onto what, Hunter?
And then he gets willpower and exploit weakness with the blades.
Blades exploit, you say?
So he's pretty good.
Blade. I like it.
So far, the uncommons are just ridiculous.
Dude, I told you, Council of Mists is awesome. We haven't got to the best one yet.
Orc Harrower is 90 points. He's Dominion Pact, which was the team ability.
If they kill somebody within 4 squares,
yeah, they can heal when somebody dies. Super Strength traded. When he hits with a light object, damage dealt is penetrating. Very good. Pretty good for this set.
I want to bring that up. I like abilities that incentivize light objects over heavy sometimes. Like, there's a lot of stuff like that.
And, because a lot of times your light object doesn't even actually get used the entire game.
This guy goes really good with that map you brought up earlier from the Mage Knight starter.
Oh, look at this guy with his big ideas and his cleverness and all that. He has an attack power of blades. When he does, and the result is 1 to 2, damage dealt is penetrating. So, charge, blades, possible penetrating with that. Then you got the penetrating with the super strength.
And Invul, I mean, like,
He's
Invul
going to be good
is
at
not-
taking down the other opponents, your opponent's other big pieces. They're 100-point.
Yeah, and he's
leaders.
really good for triggering that Dominion Pact, of course, because of all the damage output he's doing.
Yep. So he's not bad either. I'll let you guys talk
Jesus.
about.
Oh, buddy.
Go ahead, talk about your main man, Techno Shocker.
You want to do the honors, Drewster?
Yes. Okay. First of all, he's got sharpshooter. He's 85 points. Starts off with leap climb and energy explosion and willpower. He ignores hindering
On target.
on targeting.
With how much stealth there is in this set?
Skeleton Skullwalker, you son of a bitch, you're dead. He gets, when he pushes over, he gets an attack ability. Give him a double power action, roll a d6, and replace his damage value with the result, and it is locked. When you do, give Techno Shocker a range combat action as a free action.
Hey, Drew. So that's his damage.
Oh
power.
my god.
What's he have on his attack that combos really well?
Energy explosion.
No. What's he get mid-dial? It's even better.
Oh shit, he gets energy.
He gets Pinsai with that.
And an 18, is that defend?
18 defend.
So basically, it's a double power action to blades at range, but he can use a ranged combat action. So he could use energy explosion. He could use Pinsai. I mean, if you had other ways to give him other stuff, you could do that too.
I like him. He's a little. I guess he's not really for the set.
For 85, 7 range.
Yeah, if he was in regular Silver Age, I'd be like, oh, he's not bad.
Yeah, he's not bad.
In this set, he's very good.
Now,
Because you got hordes of swarms sticking together.
Yes.
And he's got the sharpshooter, energy
Yes.
explosion, 2 bolts, 10 attack.
and then when you're giving him +2 attack or something from that one guy who does the whole remove a leadership token from him,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, he's awesome. And the willpower on second click.
I gotta say, yeah, he posts on every single figure.
The willpower on first click or the second click when he picks up the damage power means he's not going to take damage from the double power action. So you just kind of like boom and you throw out a bunch of damage. What I would do with him is I'd set up a trap. Like I'd set all these guys up and make sure they're clear. Kind of use the Council of Mists Uncommon guy, the leader guy, kind of bait them into coming in close, and then just wham, one turn, double power action, all 4 of them, and just tear into my enemy.
Next guy has a really cool sculpt. Solanavi Domineer. Dominion Pact. This is our first big point piece we've seen so far.
He's a generic.
He is generic. Technically, almost all these guys are generics except for the rares. Actually, I think they technically are. They're all generics except the rares.
There's 2...
And Wolfhawk.
Wolfhawks are rare. There's
The non-generics are all
Goldix,
Silver Age, I think.
Ariathea, and Tovak are all non-generics.
The Domineer is 165 points. He does have Flight, which we don't think we've seen yet. He has Indom, which we haven't seen much. He has 8 clicks worth of a dial, and he has Outwit and Prob, one or the other, the entire dial. 8 range with an attack ability of Mind Control. When he does, the hit target modifies either its attack or damage by +1 until the action's resolved. He can use Mind Control as a free action, and when he does, instead modify his attack value -1.
Oh no, -1 attack for a free mind control hunter.
That would put him at a 10 attack.
Oh no.
Oh, darn.
Not when you're trying to hit 16s and 17.
So this guy's pretty good. So far, the uncommons, we haven't seen a bad one yet. They're all average or way above average. Wolfhawk, I want to like more than I do.
I feel like that's how I feel about it.
But she's at least cool, and I definitely want to try her. She has an epic action. She can use Incap as a free action once for each 150 points of the build total, as if she had a range value of 8. It has a trait also that's kind of going to be... I wish she had animal keyword, man. At the beginning of your turn, choose one standard power or combat ability possessed by a character on the map with the animal, monster, or mystical keyword. So a lot of these guys have monster keyword like you brought up earlier.
Mystical, too. I've seen so many mysticals so far.
Wolfhawk can use the chosen power or ability until your next turn.
I like how that includes combat abilities. So, I mean, you could pick Flight if you really wanted to.
So that's a nice free action that, she has blades. So if you could use it and steal flurry from
Precision Strike.
Let's see what the... because I know that the Moonborn guy has traded. So you could take his reflexes for one, which is going to put her at a 19 super senses, which is pretty dang good.
Hi, Iron Fist. How's it hanging?
She has a damage ability also that could get her perp. She can use Perplex when she's not adjacent to a friendly character and uses Perp. She can modify an opposing character's combat values -2. So if she's off by herself, she can Perp you down -2.
Hey.
And Flurry, mix of Flurries and Blades in the dial. There's 2 clicks with both Flurry and Blades, and the Perplex. The ability to share, get other abilities from other characters on your team for free each turn. You're getting to change it each turn.
Hey,
That's
Hunter,
pretty cool.
There's a certain golden pterodactyl-looking dude that has hypersonic. I think you might want to jack from.
Ooh, let's see if he had
I think he has mystical.
any of that. That was old Gold Dick.
He does have mystical, I think.
Old Gold Dick's got that mystical keyword. We'll give this hoe hypersonic. We'll give her energy explosion and free incap. We'll give her prop control.
Give her energy shield.
Give her whatever she needs. Yeah,
Golden Dix always gives his women what they need.
Yes.
True facts.
Like we say on this podcast, it's all about the options, and she's got lots of options.
She's a piece that I feel like, as you said, I really want to love her. I just haven't found that
If
one
she was
piece.
30 points cheaper, I would be in love with her.
I just feel like there's one piece I haven't really thought about with her that's going to make her amazing, and I gotta find it.
Next is General Volker, who also has an awesome sculpt.
Yeah, and oh man, that's probably my favorite sculpt from the set.
He's
Like,
also
it's sweet.
from the Ascendant team ability, 170 points. Lots of precision strike on his dial. A 17 Invincible. We have not seen Invincible yet.
on top,
Oh, yeah.
on top dial. we have it.
Top dial, we saw it mid dial, but we haven't seen it top dial on an expensive piece, so it's a good thing he has it. He has a damage ability of Leadership, Mind Control, Outwit. When he uses Mind Control, if the result of a successful attack roll is doubles, deal the targeted character 1 penetrating damage after it becomes an opposing character again.
I like that clarified wording.
Yeah. So, that's a good question, because there would be 2 or 3 questions that would come up with that. He has a trait, once per turn. When he KOs an opposing character, you may place a banner token in the square occupied by the KO'd character. When a banner token is placed, remove all other banner tokens from the map. So,
Hey, Boromir.
at the beginning of your turn, up to 2 friendly characters occupying or adjacent to a banner token may be healed of 1 damage. The banner token may be destroyed as if it were a square block terrain, so your opponent can try to destroy it to keep your guys from being healed.
That's pretty cool though on a big, powerful piece.
It's
like
also
this.
great on a ranged piece, because your little guys can be in there duking it out, and then when they kill somebody, or when they whittle somebody down, you kill them, heal them up, then they go swarm after the next
Especially with
guy.
precision strike at 6 range. Well, I can just picture him throwing a banner and just like impaling some guy through the chest.
He has 4 damage on top dial as well.
And he picks up steel energy down dial and outwit.
Yeah, so he gets a couple clicks of blades, and then he gets blades and exploit at one point. He gets precision strike and exploit. He doesn't have any move and attack, but in this set, even though he's 170 points, he's definitely worth his points in
He
this set.
supports the playstyle of a lot of the pieces, which is what I like. Honestly, this is my build around guy. If I'm going to play when I get into playing Mage Knight a lot, I'm going to run this guy, and I'm going to find a team to build with him to take advantage of those abilities. What's his epic action?
Give him an epic action. Choose either the row or column of the map he occupies. Destroy up to 1 square of hindering or blocking for each 100 points of the game's build total in the chosen area. Deal every opposing character occupying hindering on the chosen area 1 damage.
And it says, or tokens representing that terrain.
So,
You could just detonate everything in a line, like if someone's hiding from you.
yeah, the only one thing that sucks is it doesn't specify a chosen area and deal. Oh, it does. It's every opposing character. So, yeah, I was going to say you don't want to hit your own guys, but you wouldn't. So that, I mean,
It's
that
not
is
great.
170 points to be activating that as your action that turn instead of ship blasting them by 4 damage.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but there may be a map deck that comes in really handy on.
Yeah.
So he's pretty cool too. He's the first rare. The next rare is my main man.
Count Bones back.
Motherfreaking, this was the guy who made me want to play Ascendant in the first place. Wasn't this the first Mage Knight spoiler?
Yep.
Yes.
He was spoiled with the Pillager.
Yeah, that's right. The little guy who steals objects. He has the Ascendant TA. He's 175 points in Dom, 8 clicks. And the reason he's a boss, well, there's several reasons he's a boss, but the main one is his trait. He can use Charge. When an adjacent opposing character is KO'd, and and actions resolve, he can use Charge as a free action, and when he does, he can use Exploit.
So all it takes is one of your little goblins popping somebody, and he just goes crazy and goes and smacks somebody with a penetrator.
Yep, you run into the little orcs, they will him down, he charges in, finishes off somebody, charges over, hits your big guy for 4 damage.
And see, what I like is he has Empower on his second and third clicks. Ascendant just states if they have 1 action token, right?
So what you're going to want to do with him, I was going to bring up, what you're going to want to do with him is, like I said, take a orc, or let your orc guy whittle somebody down. He's cleared. You rush him in, smack somebody. Notice this says, and actions resolve. So actions resolve, you give him the token. Now he's a 12 in attack with 4 damage exploit, and you go after their big piece and hit him.
And then if he
with
gets
12.
knocked down, he hits Empower, and so allies can start popping people easier.
Right when he's in the thick of the fight and all
then
those guys are around.
CCE, I mean, this guy's awesome.
I love him. He has a Quake when he does and hits a target character marked with 1 action token. Place a second action token on the target. I don't know about his epic action.
I feel like his epic... Well, go ahead and describe it first.
Choose up to 1 opposing character marked with an action token for each 200 points of the build total. Deal each of the chosen characters 1 damage. I just feel like
if you know somebody's on their last click and they don't have a dampener...
And you can't get to him or something.
Yeah, or you could use it to trigger his trade if they're next to him.
I mean, I guess it's good to have the option, but...
I'm noticing a lot of these epic actions are really toned down from the Lord of the Rings ones.
No, this isn't Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, but I mean, the Lord of the Rings ones can get pretty crazy.
There's only...
Actually,
most epic actions aren't that good. In Lord of the Rings, the problem is the 3 or 4 or 5 that are good are so good that they... You know what I mean?
This is Saruman's from...
Yeah, but Saruman's, I think, was actually a penetrator and avoidable damage, wasn't it?
I think so, but anyways.
Maybe, yeah.
I just feel like, though, unless you're playing a giant game, you're playing a 1,000-point game, then dealing the 5, that's worth it.
Yeah.
But in a break, like, say, 400 or so point game, with his damage output he has already with the smacking people, then I wouldn't use it.
I would almost prefer they would have given him something that buffed nearby units more, because then they could trigger his trade.
Any guy. Anyways, this guy's amazing, and I didn't pull him, so Drew, we gotta get a hold of that motherfucker.
I got him.
I gotta get him. You got an extra one?
No.
Oh, you're breaking my heart. Exarch Balian, 200 points.
Oh, gosh, he's good.
Phoenix Concord, though, Drew.
He's good.
And he's got an attack ability of Psychic Blast with the 8 range 1 bolt. When he is not marked with 2 action tokens, up to 2 friendly characters adjacent to him can use poison. He also can use Empower, Enhancement, and Outwit. He has an 18 Imperv top dial.
Empower, Enhancement, Outwit. That's awesome. That's an awesome combo right there.
He has a trait of Mastermind. He can use Mind Control, but may only target characters marked with an action token. This guy has, like, every power at the same time. I don't know what to think about him.
I like the fact he's got Atlantean keyword, too.
There's actually a decent amount of Atlantean.
The Phoenix Concord or Atlantean.
That's pretty sweet.
I don't know what to think about this guy. I think he's definitely a cool take on a character. His dial has really cool powers, although even though he has all this, he has 5 damage, 12 attack, he has Empower, Enhancement, Outwit, the Psychic Blast, the chance to get people poisoned. He's still 200 points.
I feel like the problem I have with him is that if he falls off that top click, he feels like he loses his effectiveness.
He does go down to 16 defense, but it's invincible.
Yeah. But I mean, like... And then he drops into 14, 16, and then back up to 18 on the down slope. I mean, like, top click, he's pin psi, he can use poison for allies, he's Empower, Enhancement, Outwit. I don't know, and he's a flyer.
I'll tell you why he's good, and I'll tell you why he's bad. A, he's got 5 damage vanilla. He doesn't have to be perked up to it. He's just got 5 damage and 12 attack. He's ridiculous.
And Outwit on top of it.
Yes. He's bad because he doesn't have movement attack. There's a lot of Outwit in the set, and there's a lot of Exploit in the set.
At least the Phoenix Concord will help negate some of the Outwit, though.
Correct. But I would not play him on a Phoenix Concord team in place of someone else that we'll get to here in a second.
I would like to... I feel like if I was going to run him, I'd run him with a lot of ranged minions and sit back and pluck away at enemies. That enhancement on top dial along with Outwit with him, and him having that great pin psi at 8 range.
There may be a good little combo you could do with him and some of the cheap generic guys, where you carry them in, empower them, and give them poison, and he has Mastermind, so if the opponent comes after him, he can dish it off to them. I still don't think he's worth 200 points, though. He's not bad, though. I mean, he's average at worst.
He's worth for 200 points in Mage Knight because he's a 12 attack, 5 damage.
And traded Mastermind.
Lord Veritrix.
Okay, this guy's worth his points.
Talk about some sculpt sexiness.
Oh, man, that sculpt is gorgeous.
Okay.
175 points, 9 range. I think that's the farthest we've seen so far. 9 range double bolt with energy explosion, 12 attack, 4 damage. He has imperv and shape change at the same time on his first 2 clicks.
Okay, remember the guy I mentioned earlier that something about perplex and this is the guy I was talking about.
Now, traded when he's marked with 2 action tokens, he may be given a move action as a free action. So on the turn he clears, he can reposition and take some more shots the next turn.
Yeah, he has no movement attacks. That's really important, actually.
So he's all ranged based starting out. Then he gets 3 clicks in the middle of Flurry Blades and a damage ability of Outwit. When he does roll a d6, on a result of 5 to 6, he can use the countered power ability until the end of your next turn. I think he's great for 175 points.
And here's the thing. Typically when you're outwitting, you're going after defense powers, and those are clicks where he has super senses or regen is when he picks that up. So, I mean, you could pick up Imperv off somebody for that.
And then Flurry Blades through their defense after you've outwitted Imperv.
I mean, like, I really like this piece. When we first cracked it and I took a look at it, I was like, damn, son. And then, of course, Council of Mists with regen wouldn't be... Well, Council of Mists with regen, you'd have to hit a 6 or a 1.
Right.
So never mind, that wouldn't be good with regen.
Go big or go home.
Go big or go home.
I think he's the best Council of Mists piece we've seen so far.
Actually, I take that back. Council of Mists would be good with that if you do go with the original roll. Because you could roll like a 4 or 5, and then you can go. You can go for a 1 or a 6 on the second reroll.
Okay, this next guy is worthy of his chase status. I'll tell you that much.
Boss status. This is the only chase in the set. You get 1 chase per CTD, which we'll go over when we do the distribution.
That is a yellow ass dial.
Why don't you talk about this clear, sexy son of a bitch?
Okay, it's Raiden Mars. There's actually a version of him in the starter set, General Mars. So you can play him either way. I think he's dead in this.
Yeah, this is the ghost form of him.
He's got improved targeting, ignores friendly characters, which in this set I can't tell you how important that is.
And sharpshooter, so technically he ignores all characters on line.
Yes, he ignores all characters.
He's a ghost, damn it.
He's a ghost, you don't need it.
That's amazing.
He's Mars, the non-friendly ghost.
That's right. His epic action is give him an epic action until your next turn. No die may be rerolled and no attack can be evaded.
Screw you, Council of the Mists.
Hey!
Dude, I would run that in a Silver Age game. I mean, like, he's expensive to rely on for that.
Yeah, he's very expensive in that, but you're right. Okay, his trait, he can use Empower, Enhancement, Outwit, Perplex, and Probability Control.
You want fries with that?
At the end of your turn, roll a d6 for one of these powers that are a result of 1 to 2. Do not remove action tokens from him. So basically...
what?
Yes.
At the end of your turn, roll a d6 for each of these powers he used.
Yes.
And on a roll of 1 to 2, do not remove action. Okay, so
he can't clear.
Basically, if you don't want to use those for a chance of not
clearing,
roll a d6 for each of these powers he used.
Okay.
For each, and on a result of 1 to 2.
Okay, so here's what happens.
Okay, so it's bad for him.
Yeah,
it's bad, but it's also good because he has Endom.
Yeah, but it's still not good. That just makes it less bad.
I'm just saying, it's still...
Because those are all free action things that he would use.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So, I mean,
it gives him tons of options. I mean, Enhance, Empower, Outwit. I mean, he has everything under the sun that you're going to want from a guy.
That attack.
Including he ignores every goddamn thing.
The reason you're going to play him, though, is because of this. He can use Penetrating Psychic Blast. Each time Raiden Mars hits with a ranged combat attack and the roll is doubles. He may be given a ranged action as a free action, counting range and line of fire from a square occupied by the hit target.
So he's,
if you get really, 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 really lucky,
this guy,
and you just roll him out of the building.
It's a good thing he has that stipulation on his trade, or else this guy would be bonkers.
Yeah.
because he has Invincible on his top 2 clicks as well. Then he gets 5 clicks of Pulse Wave with 10 attack and 3 damage locked all the way across that. Plus, you got to think that the whole Empower enhancement, Outwit, Perplex, Prop Patrol, that's traded.
And the thing is, at least Empower enhancement, like they're there, but they're not going to cause that negative unless you use them. Mm-hmm. And I mean, like that's huge.
So basically, this is kind of like Void, where every time she uses one of her powers, she has to roll. Except this guy takes damage on a 1 to 2.
You're gonna
he doesn't take damage; he just doesn't clear.
The thing is, you're gonna attack. You're gonna attack first.
It's worth using all those though, just to not clear.
It's at the end of your turn.
I know. I mean,
so you're gonna attack.
You can go all in
and go do all these 5 things.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the turn, I can't clear, but I couldn't clear anyway.
Yeah,
so who gives a shit?
Yeah, that's true. It's just you got to make sure if it's time to clear. If he has 2 tokens, then
you're not gonna do it whenever he has 2 tokens.
Right.
I would take the risk of using the Pinsai and maybe probbing, hoping to hit doubles potentially.
Yeah, if you need it bad enough.
Yeah, if you needed it bad enough, like, because, what is it? It's he may be given another ranged combat action. So you could double Pinsai with that.
Exactly.
You Pinsai one person for 4, then bounce to someone else for 4.
And if you hit doubles again, you Pinsai back to the guy you just hit for 4.
Or if you choose to use Perplex for it, you could do 5, or you could have a 13 attack.
Or if you have someone else with enhancement, you could do 6. Who knows?
I mean, like, I like him. He's a gambler's piece. That's how I feel.
I still think he's worth his points.
Oh, he's definitely worth his
points. He's bonkers.
But I'm saying, like, he's one of those pieces that luck's a huge factor, but if played right and you get the right rolls with him, holy shit.
He's worth his chase status.
Oh, he's definitely what I like out of a chase piece. He's a good power piece, he's a fun piece.
And he's got the best fights.
So what do you guys think? Best piece in the set? Or?
I wouldn't say best in the set.
But he's definitely top 2.
I don't know who the best is.
Alright, that's all the main set. I want to show these boys my main man. You guys, again, go to our new YouTube channel, which I will link on the podcast. On our Podbean site now, if you look to the right on the Podbean page, there's links. I have a link to our Twitter now, our Facebook, our YouTube channel, everything. So from now on, you guys can find links to those if you want to subscribe or like us or whatever. But anyways, I have the YouTube link on there. Go check out my video, a very in-depth review. I break down each dial in the starter set. But I just want to get these boys' initial reaction on my man Heroclix, who's the starter piece for the Ascendant team ability. Now look at this manly-ass dial.
Right off the dial.
Super strength.
Oh,
with
God.
the team ability giving you +1 attack for 125 points. So 6 damage right there. Immediately after Heroclix KOs an opposing character, he may use Sidestep and make a close combat attack as a free action. Swing in, 6 exploit, Sidestep, grab another object, smack for 6 for 125 points. I'm playing them Ascendants. You prepare your anuses right now.
Epic action.
Prepare them. His epic action's good, but I don't think I would use it. Give him 1, choose up to 1 character.
And can pick it.
Per 200 points of the game's build total, chosen characters can use super strength until the end of your next turn and can pick up objects.
Dude, that's awesome. I can already think of a few exploit pieces we passed that would be fun with. Because, like, your opponent's running this bastard. All you do is you have your zombies that have freaking exploit shamble over and grab an object and smack an opponent with it.
I think this guy's the best piece if you consider starter set.
Oh, yeah, for 125 points, that guy's
He's ridiculous.
You're going to see him on my team.
And then he's going to get chain lightning down, and you're like, how did Drew hit 5 doubles in a row? And I'll be like,
one
does
thing,
the General Mars have a way to turn into the Chased Mars?
No. The
That's
General
kinda
Mars
sad.
is nowhere near as good as the Raiden Mars. But anyways, we digress. So, best pieces in the set. We like the Skeleton Skullwalker, the Windsman, the Altum Sentinel, Gasolite Swords Brother for our commons. The uncommons were just so many uncommon, really good.
We liked them all, but
Norowas, Erythria, especially Gold Dix,
I love Gold Dix,
Tovak, and especially Techno Shocker.
Techno Shockers.
Those were good uncommons. On rare slot, our top 2s, we got Con Bone Spike, and we got Lord Veritrix.
And
then
Raiden
on main
Mars.
man, the chase. You know, I think he is. Who do you guys think is better than Raiden?
I don't.
I am personally... I like Tovak a lot. I like the Banner guy, too, a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I did like the Banner guy a lot,
We didn't
too.
put him on there.
I didn't?
No, apparently you didn't. I think the Banner guy might be my favorite piece.
I apologize. I meant to put
Like,
him on there.
in combination of TA...
He's just
his
so flavorful.
stats and his sculpt, like, alone, like, in flavor, it's just a great piece. Like, it's my favorite piece in the set.
Oh, it was Balian, wasn't it? No. Dang it. The General.
General Volker.
General Volker.
He's my favorite piece in the set.
Yeah, he is pretty cool, too.
He's not, like, amazing out of the box, but he's a piece I
Have
can
you looked
build
at
around.
Raiden Mars as a sculpt yet?
Yeah, it's a
No,
really
have
good-
you looked at it in, like how detailed it is?
Yeah,
It's great.
Hunter has him.
So, lots of good dials. I'd say in a summary, this set has excellent dials, or there's a lot of figures in this that are good in the set as far as these figures. I throw in Lord of the Rings figures when I look at these guys a lot. I think if you compare them to those type of figures, there's a lot of good dials here. There's some that hold up very well in Silver Age. A lot of the rares in the chase would hold up excellent in Silver Age, I think. We're definitely going to test them out and see how well they hold up their value. You've got lots of cheap little common guys who are pretty good. And the cool thing is all the rares, the high points guys, really accent their... They either they help their little minions or their minions help them.
I want to say whatever
In some
designers they have working on Mage Knight I really like. They're good at shoving flavor in. These are kind of like old school style pieces to a point with the lack of move and attack a lot of times. I just feel like this is the kind of set I really love because it's the kind of set I feel like if all of us sat down and just played Mage Knight, we'd have an absolute ball. It's like the Halo set. Halo's a blast with other Halo figures. It's not so much a blast against other non-Halo figures.
Street Fighter as well.
Street Fighter as well. This is a set I want to play a lot of with you guys particularly.
So, good figures in the set. It's not like every figure sucks. Let's talk about allocation,
Okay.
which I don't know. Sculpting might be my favorite part about the set, but allocation actually...
It's really good.
Okay, here's why allocation is... This is the best allocated set you could possibly hope for, and if more sets were like that... like I just said, I'm considering buying another CTD of this, even though I have almost every piece in the whole set now. Every single common is a generic.
Correct.
I want that.
You get one chase guaranteed in your CTD.
No, you don't get it guaranteed.
You don't?
No, it's one chase per case.
Oh, I thought it was one chase per CD.
No.
Okay, so you
I
got...
verified this, remember?
So I got lucky?
You got lucky.
Oh, okay, my bad. I
He's up
apologize.
all night to get lucky.
I got lucky, but one chase per case, but there's only one chase in the whole set. It's not like...
It also
And
keeps value.
it's not a must-have.
Yeah, that's true.
Actually, in Mage Knight terms, it's pretty,
In our opinion, it's what's happening.
he's pretty much...
Yeah, like, the main thing is that every common is a generic piece, and pretty much every uncommon is a generic piece.
The good
as
thing
well.
about this is you're not going to be sad when you open it up.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
bought
it's
a
like,
couple-
oh shucks, I got another one of this generic that I actually need to build my army with.
It's like
Oh, darn.
I bought a couple of Mage Knight figures like on a whim the other day, and I was fine with what I pulled. Like, they were cool little figures. The sculpts were great, and it's like, okay, I pulled dupes of one of these. I don't really care. I'm going to run 2 of them. The only problem I have with Mage Knight, and it's not really a problem, I should say, they packaged a second dial with each Mage Knight figure. The second dial is for playing it on Mage Knight rules, which are a special set of rules. I don't know, a lot of people were saying the starter kit didn't have Mage Knight rules. Did you find them when you were looking through your starter kit?
No, but it did have their Mage Knight dials.
Okay, so you have to go online to find the Mage Knight rules.
Yeah.
Which sucks.
So that does suck, because like honestly I thought about buying the starter kit just for the Mage Knight rules.
Yeah, I'll look back through there, but I don't think there were Mage Knight rules in
Okay.
there.
But overall, I mean, even with playing with the PAC rules, like, this is spot on.
Yeah, I think allocation's awesome, but the main thing is the sculpting. Austin
God.
said, we don't know if they turned it up because it's for Mage Knight, so they want to make it really high quality.
If they
Or
brought
what?
in different designers and sculptors for it. But they have that old style sculpt where like things are a little bit, I want to say pronounced and a little exaggerated, but it's not weird. Like, it's kind of like comic book style where like characters have huge gauntlets and giant shoulder pads. Like, I love that style. Like, they did a great job with a lot of these figures. And then the transparent pieces are gorgeous.
I mean, there were a ton of pieces where I pulled it out, and Drew was playing a game, and I just had to show him.
You interrupted that.
I was like, Drew, look at the detail on this goddamn werewolf.
And I was like, I want to open my case now.
Look at the sword and the flag that the general guy...
Volker is probably my favorite sculpt.
Like, yeah, as I was opening it, I was like, this sculpt's so badass it can't get any better than this.
This
And
has
then-
to be the chase.
And then
I remember that.
3 packs later, I'd open one and be like, "This thing look at this freaking badass dragon." And I'm like,
Yeah.
then two packs later, I'd find something that looks even cooler than that.
I think overall,
Like, even the generics look good. Go look at the skeleton. He looks amazing.
The amount of detail on these guys is really good for the amount of detail on these tiny of pieces.
Look at him. Look at him.
That's a better sculpt than any main Marvel DC.
these little
piece.
Chinese kids are getting great at painting stuff.
I know their little fingers just get so much detail into the little
Oh my
bitty
gosh,
tiny.
that's
little
what we're
fingers.
paying $5 a booster for.
They must have demanded a raise or something.
The thing is, like, when a set's finalized and done, and I'm looking over it, and I bought a bunch of it, or I plan on buying a bunch of it, I want to be able to sit down and say, if they remade this set and expanded upon it, would I buy more? And I think overall, my verdict on Mage Knight is hell yeah. This is a series of sets I would have no problem buying more of from this set, but also future Mage Knights.
You bought like 2 boosters. Hunter,
You guys bought the CTDs. Let's hear your verdict.
would we buy more Mage Knight if they released
I just said mid conversation.
No, I mean like
no,
more
I mean
new
if they
sets.
release more.
Absolutely, we're going to look into. I'm going to start playing the regular, not all the time, but we're going to start having weekly on Mondays. Game Preserve's going to have board game night. I'm trying to push. I'm going to try to push Mage Knight and get people to try Mage Knight, and we can learn
I'd
it
be willing
together.
to try.
We already have the figures. I mean, we don't have to go out and buy a bunch of Mage Knight figures. We got it now.
Yeah, I got a lot of Mage Knight.
They give you all the
And that extra little
dials
price.
for 'em. Yeah, it's
it's not enough.
$350, I think.
It's $350 dugout. Some places are charging $5. I think it varies, but
Okay.
You can get them pretty cheap on
you
cool
can
stuff.
you can get them pretty cheap and stuff.
Oh, these guys are super cheap already on cool stuff. I don't know if they come with their,
individually.
I don't know if they come with their Mage Knight dials like that though. It doesn't specify.
I don't think they'd hoard them. Like it seems like the kind of thing like they wouldn't want to keep boxes of the Mage Knight. They probably give them out with
So
them.
I don't know, but
But overall, like I want to learn. This makes me want to learn Mage Knight. I love the universe already. Like I don't even know shit about it, but like these characters are cool. The factions are awesome. I want to know what's next. Like you got crazy steampunk wizards and giant freaking Tesla 3-legged walkers that are shooting explosions.
You got magic dragons.
reading a damn book.
He's got a book.
With apparently a gold dick.
Okay, so price. Let's say the average price is $4. So for a CTD set, you're only paying like pretty much $1 extra MSRP for the dial that corresponds to Mage Knight.
For a whole second game.
That's kind of a personal preference thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I gotta say, even if you barely ever play Mage Knight, it's still, $1 more is a pretty good deal
Yeah.
of getting the figure to be able to play in a totally different game. So, value's retained in that, and as far as price, in my opinion. What do we think overall? Considering sculpting, how good the dials were, and how good the pricing is. Personally, I think this is one of my favorite sets ever.
I'm going to second that one.
And I think that this is, like you said, if every set had this kind of sculpting,
And
if
quality
every
overall.
if every set had this kind of sculpting, and most of the commons and uncommons were generics,
Oh, yeah.
imagine how many more boosters you'd buy if most pieces in the set were generics.
I kind of
You can't do that because
I miss
of so
the old
many
days when there were
characters.
like 3 different versions of like Shield Commando or something like that.
I just feel like this is the perfect example of how they should do these these side sets, like Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. This is the packaging ratios and the sculpting that they need to be implemented.
Well, I've talked about that before. My issue with CTDs is I hate how many dupes you get to get the stuff you need. And there's so many characters in CTD sets usually that you don't want dupes of. Because usually they're main big figures. Like, Gravity Feeds are terrible about it for main sets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm happy when they started shifting to the 2 generic, at least, out of the 8 figures. I kind of wish they'd up that ratio and start doing, 3 or 4 generics per set.
Yeah, 3 would be a good number to
The
do.
rares in this set are worth some money, too. Especially the good ones.
Just, overall, I would recommend this set to anybody who's wanting to check it out. If you think you might be interested, pick up a few of them. Check them out, see how you feel about them.
If you see these sculpts, you're going to buy more.
Oh, that's exactly what locked me in.
Yeah. Moving on to community.
Do we have to? I want to splurge about Mage Knight more.
Weekly question this week was best single starting piece out of either starter, which do you think is the single best piece for the points?
Scarlet Witch.
What are you thinking, Austin? He's thinking intently over there.
This is a hard one.
It's either Scarlet Witch or Cyclops.
I think I'm actually probably going to go with Drew on Cyclops there. I think Cyclops has a lot of good versatility. He's a really good leader piece on top of it. Overall, he's that piece that I think I would play almost every chance I get when building an X-Men team. Like he's got a lot of capabilities out of him. The cap's pretty good. That's the other one I was thinking about. But I don't know.
You've just seen that imperv on Cap, aren't you? And you're like...
I can't make up my mind also between Scarlet Witch and Cyclops.
I will give them credit. They gave Scarlet Witch the silver ring this time.
Well, see, the only thing about it is, are we talking playing AVX, or are we talking in general?
In general, no. Just
okay.
their figure.
In
single
general,
figure.
In single figure that will actually have an impact on other teams, Scarlet Witch.
I agree.
If we're
That's
talking
why
with-
I chose her.
If we're within AVX, talking about what we're going to play at AVX events and stuff, Cyclops has my vote.
That's a good little statement there, Austin Smith. Adding some very contributing to the conversation.
Yes,
well,
sir.
For once. So
For once.
It only
I
took
hate you
him
both.
20 episodes.
I'm going to shove this Scarlet
Can
Witch
you guys
so
believe
far
we're
up
in 20 episodes?
Dear God, no, we're not.
Like, when we first started the first week, I think I was, like, counting every listen we had, and we got 100. And I was like, guess what, boys? We got 100 listens. And now it's, like, day one I upload, like, 700 listens. I'm like, holy. And that's just on Podbean.
And it's great. I mean, like, honestly, I feel like if we didn't get the reception we got, I don't think we probably would have stayed in past, like, I don't know. It's fun, but, like, what episode do you think we made it to if we were only getting, like, 50 listeners a week?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we kind of sit and talk about this stuff anyway.
Yeah, it's true.
So it's not really like
It's just like, yeah.
and it only takes like 2 hours out of our day, and it's fun. But anyways,
Thank
sorry,
you,
I didn't
everybody.
mean to stop halfway.
We
But
love you guys.
yeah, we got 2 votes for Scarlet Witch and 1 vote for Cyclops, which is just as good. Most people said said Scarlet Witch. Sorry, Cyclops was the next number 1 answer, and a couple people said Thor, and I actually really liked that.
Yeah, that
Thor
Thor is
too.
really good. Me
Yeah.
and Harry were talking about him the other day.
That freaking energy explosion, penetrating energy explosion, is going to be nuts. And I think, it looks like I'm going to be playing Avengers at Dugout because we have surprisingly, a lot more X-Men.
Oh yeah, those
people
X-Men kits. We walked up there,
So,
and they were like,
it looks like I'm going to be running this Thor a few times. Here, Drew, you ready? Because you're X-Men.
I don't want to play.
You're going down. You see this hammer he's swinging around?
I don't want to play against that door.
Give you 2 guesses where it's going.
My anus.
It was a good guess.
that was a good guess, but it's wrong. It's actually going in your face.
Dial design. Week number 3.
Oh man, this was a really good.
We
week.
got a very heated contest going on this month.
Oh my gosh.
The scores are just raised or close.
God, it was so hard for me to pick my 10. Like there were like 3 or 4 of them I was debating over.
We don't absolutely have your final scores in yet. I'm still calculating, cranking numbers in my head. I got my abacus. It's on hold right now. But
Who the hell uses an abacus?
I'm old school, man. I'm
You've got a
OG.
calculator right there, buddy.
Fuck your TI-83. Abacus all day. Did you just take that? Oh, is that yours?
Yeah, it's mine.
Okay, I was going to say, don't open mine yet. I got to do a video on that.
No, I just took my Thor to fly it around Drew's head.
5
and taught him-
damage or
Anyways, we're talking about dial design. This week's assignment was from Drew. What was it again, Drew?
I think it was a DC villain.
Drew wants any classic DC villain. We got pretty much every
We got every villain known.
every heavy hitter DC villain. We didn't get any duplicates of any dials. That was good. We got some really cool random idea, like some characters I didn't. Kite Man.
Yeah,
Never
props
would've-
for Kite Man.
I never would have expected a Kite Man. So Magneto turned in the Corinthian
By the way,
from
I'll just-
Sandman, which I just started reading. What's up?
It's good. You'll
Yeah, this dial is actually really representative of the character.
Yeah,
too.
that was one of them I struggled with.
Very representative of the character.
My favorite overall, though, had to be that Ares. Like, that Ares had some pretty cool powers. It fit Ares to me.
I agree. The Ares was the number 1 scoring piece this week. I also liked the Mr. Mizzleplex and
Yep.
what was the other one I really liked?
the Red Hood?
Yes.
The Red Hood was really
Ricky's submission was really good this week, too. Actually, there were several good submissions.
I felt bad because, like, when I'm judging and I'm listing them all out, I was looking at my judging scores. I was like, I'm giving out way too many 9s and 10s. Like, I had to scale it back and really stop and think. And it was so hard. Like, it took me a couple hours to sit and go through these. Like, good job, guys.
So we're going to go over Ares' dial, which was submitted from Cassius335. He has the team ability of Mystics and Quintessence, 6 range, and 2-point options, 260 or 155. At 260, he starts with 4 clicks of a special movement power. Mind control with 3 targets, but each free action given this way must involve an attack. After actions resolve, hit targets have Battle Fury until the start of your next turn.
I love this.
That's so flavorful and such a good representation of Ares himself. He has 4 clicks of a 19 Invincible, unoutwittable, mind you, because it's Quintessence, on the top 4 clicks as well. He also gets a damage power of Perplex, but he can't target himself. And when he does use Perplex, if the target is named Wonder Woman or Wonder Girl or possesses the Amazon keyword, he can modify the value +2 or -2. Another thing that adds a lot of flavor to the dial.
Yeah, I like the fact that allows you to play a Wonder Woman on your team with him or against him, like depending on what kind of like story theme you're running with.
You've got so for 260, you've got the 4 clicks of the special mind control and the Perplex with 19 Invincible. And then or you got the 155-point option where he starts with Charge Exploit and a special attack power, God of War. He can use Blades. When he does, the minimum result of the damage roll is equal to the difference between his attack result and the hit target's defense value. Which if you're
an 11 swinging on a 17
and you roll, let's say, a 10, you get 4. And then it's going to go up from there, so 5, 6. Even, I mean, if you're swinging
I like it. I mean,
if you're swinging at a little piece, it's such overkill. Because it's like, look at that little 14 defense. I just hit you for 10
But
damage.
at the same time, it's almost flavorful for Ares just to be like, screw you.
His defense power is invulnerable when he does. If the attacker has a point value of 200 or less, he ignores 2 damage instead. So
I feel like he's really powerful. And it's to a point, but like I feel like when I looked at this piece and those special powers, I was like, I could see some of these powers making its way to a real Ares in the game.
This dial was very close to me docking it for being too good.
It was for me too.
Yeah, I tell you what, if the Quintessence wasn't on there, I think it'd be perfect as far as point, you know what I mean? Like really good, but still in check for its points. But the fact that he gets full dial, can't be outwitted, and has Indom just makes it almost.
Did you notice his trait?
Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention the trait. When Ares is adjacent to a friendly character, also named Ares, but with a different universe symbol, they both modify attack and defense +1 if not already modified by this effect, and it's called I Like Your Style.
It was kind of silly, but it was kind of cool too, because like I picture that team was exactly what I was thinking of when I was looking at these abilities.
So, great submission there, Cassius. Great, again, tons
Overall,
of good
there were
submissions.
so many good ones. The Mr. is it Mitzelpix or whatever? Mitzelplex was really cool.
I'm probably saying it wrong myself.
Probably.
Complex.
The red hood was really good. There were just so many good ones. Kite Man was awesome.
Yeah, so, like I said, scores are kind of in progress right now. I got most of them tallied up. I'll try to submit them. I'll definitely submit them tomorrow and let you know who the winner is. Contact you, and we'll get you your action tokens. We haven't talked about best build for a while, but that's just because we did it early this month. So I think, let's see, next week I will give you your assignment for December's best build, and you'll have like 2 weeks to submit it, so you have plenty of time for that.
Is it going to be a Christmas build?
No, well, we're going to be doing it on like the 14th or 15th. So I didn't know if I wanted to do Christmas or not. Do you want to do Christmas?
We need to do a Christmas event where you bring up to 3 relics and your opponent gets to use them. Just because of the hilarious... People just give kryptonite, though.
Yeah, but then you won't even use them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's pointless because you'd be like, well, I don't want to use the damn freaking...
It's true. I don't want to choose 3 Mjolnirs.
If we do that, you have to do the Game of Bomb and give it to the opponent.
That's what I was planning on doing.
It's freaking payback.
I was going to run 3 of them and give them to the opponent.
That's ridiculous.
It also screws the rules because it's very complicated to try to fit 3 relics on the same team legally. Yeah, we might do something Christmas. We'll figure it out. I have an idea in my head, just a simple, safe thing to do, but we can chat and we can figure something out if we want to do Christmas. Anyways, so that'll be coming up next week. There is a Clicks for the Cause tournament coming up that I wanted to promote. One of our listeners was asking us if we could promote it, and I said sure we could. While I'm looking that up, again, I want to bring up my YouTube channel.
Your YouTube? Oh, okay.
Our YouTube channel.
Whatever. I guess it's Dial H for Hunter.
Jesus, guys, I'm trying to talk and look stuff up at the same time. Forgive me.
Oh gosh, you can't multitask.
I want to bring up our YouTube channel. I have the Mage Knight starter review on there. Just go on, hit subscribe. As I say in the first video, I don't think you're going to be getting a new video every day. We don't have time to do that and the podcast. But I am going to try maybe at least once a week have a new content, have some new content on there.
I think we should start a competing YouTube channel where we do daily videos.
Oh my god. Yeah. Why don't you do our daily videos, you sons of bitches?
I can do it. You have to give me that password.
But yeah, look forward to more starter reviews, unboxings. As I said, when we get questions about powers, we'll set up maps and we'll specifically describe how they work, like certain questions about special powers, like maybe some kind of special energy explosion.
Yeah, I'd like to do a series of power compatibility, so like energy explosion, precision strike, and show like good examples of when it's used.
We could. Glass Cabinet has all that stuff really down really well, though. He has great.
So does.
There's already some good.
There's a good article series on individual powers on HC Realms too.
But subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm going to get every episode on there as well in case you guys need to listen. So I know there's a couple people, in fact, one personally at our venue that listens to everything off of YouTube and not on iTunes or anything. So once I get every episode up on there, you'll have that option weekly as well to listen to us on YouTube instead. Back to the Clicks for the Cause. There is a Clicks for the Cause tournament. It is in Texas. Email comes to us from Eduardo Larez. And it's Clicks for the Cause Southern Edition. It's on November 23rd, oh shit, that was this week, dang it. I was thinking we were going to be promoting it sooner. Well, that was a big goof on my part.
Drew's wearing my Mandarin ring center. I'm afraid I've given him too much power.
What have you done?
He's only got 5 of them at least.
Well, Eduardo, I'm sorry. I tried to give you a shout out and get
Way to go, Hunter.
on the podcast and get it out on time, but it's already over. So, instead we'll say congratulations.
Yeah, that was a great event, guys.
Sir unknown winner of Clicks for the Cause. So,
man, his team build
Southern
must have been
2013.
really good.
So, I tell you guys what. If you guys have upcoming tournaments that you want us to talk about on the podcast,
Try to give us a month head start.
send them to me at least a week, not two. No, he sent this to me 3 days ago. Send it to me at least a couple weeks in advance, unless you just want me to congratulate your unknown winners. In which case, fine. Just send them to me.
Way to go, unknown winners,
Do that
guys.
every-
First place,
yeah.
second place, great job, guys.
You know, I felt the team that the guy who got first place was running was a little cheesy.
But I think he deserved the win.
But you know what? He played a hell of a match.
That's right, I did.
Made some bold moves. And we'll have him on next week for an interview.
All for charity.
Anyways.
Cheese for charity.
Cheese for charity.
So speaking of YouTube channel, real quick, I have the Mage Knight starter. You're going to get a Avengers and X-Men starter reviews and a Desolation Smog starter review. But anyways,
I want to see the Desolations. I want to watch that one.
you better watch them all. Support me, yeah. Support us.
Support you.
Support us.
Here we go again.
I'm just saying, I put in the hard work. You guys can't even watch or listen for 2 seconds.
That's right, I can't watch or listen. I got a gerb.
I work more hours than you, son.
I doubt you do.
I work 60 hours.
I have
I
never
work 61.
You're so full of shit. You don't work no 61.
I don't even care what any of you have to say. I have 5 Mandarin names.
He doesn't do anything.
I have a job.
He sits on his ass at work all day long.
And then plays Pokemon.
plays Pokemon and plays on the computer all day.
And you wonder why I can't play Pokemon because I'm not sitting in an office.
Hey, Hunter does it too. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, but I do work while I'm doing it.
Yeah,
I do too.
He does work while he's playing.
Anyways.
Big
What-
fancy doctor.
While I was working on the YouTube channel, first of all, can we all agree? Give up on Google Plus. It's such
God, I was
Jesus.
so mad when they jacked my YouTube account that I had for my Minecraft mod and stuff because it posted like I'm not one to care about privacy stuff usually, but it straight up posted all of my personal information from my Google Plus, made it all accessible and all this stuff, and it pissed me off to no end.
I have heard people bitch and moan about Google Plus before, but I've never personally had to deal with it this much until now, till I was working on our YouTube channel and modifying things since all the Google Plus updates on YouTube. Just give it up. It's not going to happen. Google Plus is not going to happen. It doesn't work. It's not user
It's a niche
friendly.
thing, and it works for certain things, but that's it. Like you can't force.
You
this on
can't
general
force
thing.
it on every YouTube person, which is every person who's been born in the last 10 years and will be born in the next 50 years. You can't make every channel have to do all these stupid things. I can't even get our damn name on the YouTube channel to just read Dial H4 Heroclix properly. I have to make it look like a first and last name or send in a freaking request to get a special case, in which case they will not approve it because it's a quote-unquote business, which it's not. It's such a fucking pain in the ass. Anyways, so I deal with Google Plus, get all that, get the YouTube channel up, running, we're good. But when I was trying to get the video edited and everything, I recorded on my iPhone because I can't find the damn charger to this very nice video camera that I bought last year to do videos with. So until then, I'm using my phone, which I apologize, it's not the best quality. I mean, it's not horrible, but it's not the best quality.
I didn't know it was from your.
Yeah. In fact, I have the phone sitting on a couple of things to be eye level, and I'm just doing it all myself, right? And there's one thing where at the beginning I hold up the starter pack and show it to the camera, and if you watch the video, you can see the reflection of the phone like sitting up on some boxes like in the starter set. It's so funny. Anyways, I'm editing this bad boy on iMovie, which I have program I've never used in my life, and I will never use again. It's the biggest piece of shit I've ever used. Can we agree? Apple stuff is so goddamn unuser friendly.
You already know my opinion on Apple,
Honestly,
so I'm not even gonna go on
the phone stuff is actually kind of not user friendly. Also, it's just everybody's so used to it at this point. Yeah. It's not a problem. But go to iMovie, open the motherfreaker up, and try to edit a movie. There's no on a computer. If I hold my mouse over something, would that take 1 second and it pops up and tells me what it is? Shit don't work like that on an Apple. It doesn't tell you anything. It doesn't. I go to the tutorial. It says click this link. I click the link. It's a dead link. There's no help. It's fully
dead
updated.
Link tutorials are beautiful.
Oh god.
It's fully updated. I go to check for updates. It's like you're ready to go.
Yeah.
I try to figure it out while I'm doing it. I work for all this time, and it just keeps fucking up. And I was like, dude, screw this. I'm going to redo it all on Windows Movie Maker, which can't do crap. But guess what? It's quick and user-friendly.
Exactly.
I got it done in like 10 minutes. And I spent 2 hours on iMovie trying to get it to work. So fuck Apple. That's all I got to say. I'll stick with my
That's the most
iPhone.
beautiful thing I've ever heard you say.
That's the most Apple thing I'm ever going to deal with for the rest of my life.
When I logged up, oh gosh, it's too bad there isn't a game section on, because when I got on Facebook last night and I saw this huge debate from Hunter and Austin's brothers about PC gaming against consoles, I was just like, you have gotta be shitting.
You know what? I was thinking about our whole talk that I was about that exact same thing.
Debate.
And I was thinking, it's funny because your girlfriend would be like, you never talk to me about anything. You never open up. And you never say 2 words to me. Like, all kinds of girls say that stuff about guys all the time.
Yeah.
And we sit and have a, 20-page discussion
on consoles versus
detailed paragraphs on, breakdowns of how things work and our opinions, and we can just talk for days and days, but we will not talk about...
I just made a quote from the Big Lebowski and just drew it at that, because I needed, context and, direction.
Basically, Aaron is very PC Master Racy, and
I am too, but I can understand consoles for certain things.
and they were bringing up, but the problem is most vocal console people are freaking fanboys who don't know jack shit about the performance of a console. They don't know anything that they're arguing about.
Yeah.
So it makes them look stupid. But then the problem is most PC people who are vocal are Master Race pretentious
Connor,
assholes.
Vocal everybody are pretentious assholes.
So you've got the opposite ends of the spectrum, and the problem is one of them makes the other one look more like what they're looking like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's so many idiots that it makes the PC guys look so pretentious, and there's so many pretentious that it makes these guys look like idiots.
Praise be to Gaben.
It's just a never-ending freaking circle jerk.
It's pretty hilarious.
Anyways,
I laughed at the whole.
all my point was trying to say was, when you take the pros and cons of both, because there are several cons to PC gaming that those two, your brothers, don't see what I'm saying. When you take the pros and cons of each, they're equal. You can't say that PC gaming is overall superior to console gaming, and you can't say that console gaming is...
What they fail to realize is probably that both are just gaming platforms. And
They
at
are.
the end of the day.
My point wasn't that one's better than the other. My point was that neither is better than the other. And they're trying to convince me that PCs are better. And I was... Anyways. Why are we talking about it?
I don't know. I just wanted to bring it up because I didn't get to talk to you.
It was hilarious.
It was pretty funny.
It's just funny because I was talking to someone. They're like, "Do you ever argue with your brother or anything?" I was like, "Yeah, but it's usually about stupid game stuff."
Yeah, exactly.
And they're like, "That's stupid." And I'm like, "No, it's better that we're arguing about stupid crap than we're arguing about."
We weren't really arguing. We were just talking. But anyways, I just thought it was funny.
Talking angrily at each other.
I was like, if Ashley sees this post, she'd be like, "You motherfucker. You won't even tell me how your day went. You had a 2-hour discussion with your cousins on breaking down game." Anyways. So that's our game section for today, guys.
Aww.
That last 5 minutes. Comic section, though.
We're finally going to talk about what we were supposed to talk about last.
We're going to get a little warmed up for this Iron Man and set that came out this week. And next week we're going to do our sealed review. Let you know what are the best pieces for you to play. Now we're going to talk about comics. Today we're going to talk about Marvel Now Iron Man. But first, we want to start off on a very positive note and talk about Invincible Iron Man.
And before we get into this, I do want to bring up one thing, and I've noticed it a lot, and it's shown up in a lot of discussions. If all you know about Tony Stark is what you ran into in Civil War or the horrible Civil War front line, throw that out the window before you go and
not
read
doing
something.
it.
Because Civil War crucified Tony and made him out to be like this super villain, and made Cap out to be Jesus.
Cap is Jesus.
Whereas Invincible Iron Man, I think, really did a great job of making Tony human.
That's a good point. Yeah, and you know what?
I hear that.
Personally, I liked Iron Man's side. I mean, Iron Man makes good points. I know that they try to purposely make him out to be the villain, but I didn't dislike him as much as most people did personally.
Did you read the Frontline stuff?
Yeah, I have every single Civil War tie-in.
Because the
I have a
Frontline
whole
stuff
long
was
box of Civil War stuff. I love Civil War.
The Frontline stuff was like Tony was making kickbacks on stuff from the Civil War, and that's why he supported it. And I'm like,
it's a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, it's just them trying to drum up hatred for him.
Anyways, Invincible Iron Man is the set that came out post Civil War. It's by Matt Fraction, who back then Fraction.
You said set that came out.
Or sorry, book. Run is what I meant to say. Is the run that comes out after Civil War. Matt Fraction, at the time that Invincible Iron Man started, was kind of up and coming. He had written some good stuff, but he wasn't a household name like he is now. Now he's kicking ass and taking names all over Marvel Comics. And Sam LaRocca, who's just kind of a long-time, excellent artist.
Yeah,
you know what I love?
When we were talking about artists that one time.
Yeah, you know what I love so much about his art?
Is the glowy nodes on everything look really cool?
He does the best job, in my opinion, of doing art of humans and making it look realistic, but the perfect amount of realistic. It's not
Uncanny Valley.
It's not perfect. It's not like looks lifelike, but it doesn't look cartoony. I don't know. He has the perfect balance of making like humans look like humans, like they should.
So he draws the line before he becomes Rob Liefeld.
They don't look fat. They don't look. Everybody doesn't look too fat. Everybody doesn't look too skinny. It's just
Rob
perfect.
Liefeld circle jerk begin.
Yeah. Anyways,
it's more of a hate jerk.
That's what I mean. Overall, I think
Invincible Iron Man is the best Iron Man book to ever come out.
I want to say it's the best Tony Stark book, especially. Because, as I said before, people don't really have a good measure for Tony. Like, running off the main Iron Man series, which we'll get into, and stuff like that, like, you don't really get what you got out of Invincible Iron Man. You see him more as a person, like, how he reacts to various things. You get a lot of his personality in it, and, like, his quips and stuff like that. They just did a really good job overall of writing...
There's a lot of
the life of Tony.
development.
Yeah, it's the life of Tony Stark, how he reacts to various events, how he views various events, and how it affects the characters around him. And I think they did best Pepper Potts they've ever written.
Yeah,
like I feel like a lot of things really screw. A lot of like the modern one, I feel like really just throws her in there.
Well, we'll get to the modern one in a minute, but
it screws a lot of stuff up.
Yeah. Invincible Iron Man was the perfect blend of character development and art, and
a great story too.
Still, in my opinion, is the best books that Matt Fraction has ever done, and that's saying something because he's done a lot of good stuff. And there were
like 3 or 4 big arcs, I think.
Well, there's lots of big arcs. It starts off with the Extremis arc, and the next few arcs are all about his personality. Then you have the whole heart, the whole transferring everything of his mind over.
Oh yeah,
then
the storage of the registration bit.
Yeah, then you have the stain stuff.
Which, that's my favorite
Which is
arc,
awesome,
I think that's probably my favorite
Definitely.
arc. Ezekiel Stain is one of the best Iron Man villains I've read in a while. Mm-hmm. And then the wrap-up arc for Invincible Iron Man with the Mandarin and Ezekiel Stain was amazing.
So, if you guys have never read any... If you're only... access... I can't think of the word I'm trying to think of right now, but if your only time that you get... exposure to Iron Man is just in Avengers books... Invincible Iron Man is the book to read. Yeah. Just like we said with Thor: God of Thunder. If you're a lot of people only see Thor, they don't read his dedicated book. They see him in Avengers here and now, flying around, kicking ass, punching people in the face. If your only time that you ever see Tony is in Avengers, you're just going to think he's cool in a firefight.
He's smart. He shows up. He shoots some stuff.
You're not getting character development like you're going to get in this book. You get absolutely perfect character development. Now, moving on. So, positive note, Invincible Iron Man. There was about a 4-year run.
It was my my first comic. Actually, the first one I sat down and read and got into.
The best Iron Man book you can actually find, in my opinion. A problem with Iron Man is a lot of his really good stuff is Silver Age.
It didn't age well at all.
It's Silver Age, so it doesn't age that well. Demon in a Bottle. Doom Quest holds up pretty well.
Demon in a Bottle, I tried to read, and literally it was laughable. Like, the stuff he says back and forth with Namor, it's like, oh, it's adorable. It's like 70s talk of all these terrible puns and one-liners.
Every time I think of Jesus, anyway. Anytime I think of Demon in a Bottle, I think of the Deadpool issue.
Yeah, exactly.
It did not age.
Doom Quest and Armor Wars hold up pretty well, but they still suffer from the Silver Age. Sounds so campy, and... it's just too old school to enjoy these days.
Yeah,
it's almost like when you go back and you play a game that used to be amazing.
Yeah.
Like you know
Final Fantasy VII.
You know that game is truly amazing, but you just can't appreciate it these days because you're so used to games these days.
Final Fantasy VII is a good example.
007 GoldenEye, prime example.
Well, the thing about that game is the aiming.
That's what I'm saying. But at the time, you
thought it was the shit.
You didn't have a problem with it. The 360 controller had never existed.
And then I played Counter-Strike, and I was like, what?
Yeah, I can't... Actually, I tried to go back and play GoldenEye. I couldn't enjoy it.
So, anyways, let's move into Marvel Now Iron Man.
Oh, God.
Which started off god-awful.
And it's gotten better.
In fact, I really wanted to quit reading it about halfway through the series, but I stuck with it.
Okay. I don't want to say it started off god-awful. It started out mediocre. I feel like it started getting god-awful with Builder. I liked the arc with the guys who were stealing his tech and using it to build the robot, or the knights.
Yeah. That
arc was kind of cool.
What? Sorry, go ahead.
I didn't like the Builder arc at all. I feel like it was really thrown in there, to try to, it was kind of gimmicky feeling at first. I don't want to spoil anything for it, but when you get to plot twists and stuff, it's not gimmicky. They backtrack on some stuff, but overall, I feel like the only character they wrote was Tony, and they didn't really write him well. Like, the side characters when they show in, besides, what's his name? Giant robot dude.
Death's Head.
Death's Head. I enjoyed Death's Head in the
Well, how
series.
can you not enjoy Death's Head?
He was
Death's
hilarious
Head's
in the
pretty
series. And there were times, like, I'm not gonna lie, there were times where, like, there were good twists and stuff like that were great. It's just there was no character development, I felt like. Like, I feel like all the characters were flat, they were written poorly.
Mm-hmm. And you're spoiled coming off of Invincible Iron Man.
Yeah.
Character development.
Where, like, every issue, like, even, like, from one issue to another, I feel like characters, like, suddenly shifted emotions.
It's almost like you're getting more character development out of Tony in Guardians of the Galaxy than you are.
You definitely
Yeah.
truly
I
are,
loved him.
honestly.
Well, that's the thing. And
He's better written by a better writer.
you
in
said
that.
spoiled by Invincible Iron Man. I was more spoiled because I'm looking right here between Guardians of the Galaxy every week and Iron Man.
Yeah, that's a good point. And so you know how I said I almost quit reading it? That the only thing that kept me reading it, Austin, was because of Death's Head.
Yeah, he's
Right
good.
at the point where I was like, you know what? I've got too many books to read. I'm dropping this thing. It sucks. Death's Head came into the equation, and he kept me around long enough for the book to get a little bit better.
I had never seen Death's Head before this. Like, I had seen, like, glimpses of him and stuff. I had no idea who he was. Easily one of those characters I really love now.
Well, he's kind of... I'm trying to compare him to somebody in the DC universe, but I'm just
He's hard
failing.
to compare.
He's like a funny robot butler bounty hunter.
I guess, yeah. I don't know about Butler. How do you get Butler?
I don't know, just like his attitude about things.
Well, he always, in Celeste senses, yes.
But anyways, long story short, the book sucks.
The builder arc was terrible. Like,
Read Invincible Iron.
I don't like the God Armor
that's what I
arc.
mean.
I like... Okay, same one, right?
Yeah, the builder's the robot that comes in on it all.
The thing, though, is that the last 2 issues have actually been pretty good.
Yeah, and that's...
You find out about a certain person. We don't want to spoil it in case you guys haven't read it yet in the last couple
pretty important
weeks.
going forward.
You find out about a certain revelation that could greatly impact Tony's story in the future across all comics.
For once, we're getting character development in this series.
Right. Well,
And that's
that's
when it
not
starts
even development.
Yeah,
it's
true.
just like introduction of somebody else. But something is revealed that's actually extremely interesting. Could be a potential game changer. And they do... The next issue kind of shows a behind-the-scenes what-if issue of... What if this situation had been like this the whole entire time? What could Tony have accomplished?
Yeah, I really like
And
that.
what would happen from that? You know, it just shows you potential. So we will end on a positive note saying that the book is picking up a little bit.
But they swapped out some stuff. Or I think they swapped out writers and...
Well, then that makes sense.
It's... And then, like, there's the whole thing that's going on that they hinted towards where, without spoiling too much, the Mandarin's starting to enter the picture again.
Yes.
And I really like that. Like, the stuff they tease a little bit at the end of the latest issue is really good. It's just, overall, like... I like Iron Man books when they're written as Tony Stark books featuring Iron Man. I don't enjoy Iron Man books featuring Tony Stark. Tony's at his best when he's a person, as opposed to when he's just a walking weapon.
I agree.
That's why, as you said, in Avengers and stuff, he's not as interesting because he's just a gun with a person in it with a couple funny lines.
Yeah, there may as well not even be anybody in the suit.
And that's why he's so good in Guardians of the Galaxy, though, is because they write him out of the suit really well. As I said, it's Tony Stark featuring Iron Man as opposed to the flip.
Yeah.
I have actually went through a bunch of other comics here recently. I read every issue of Elephant Man. Have you guys ever read any?
No.
No.
You ever heard of it?
Me and you were talking about that the other day, actually.
Yeah. Elephant Man is something that here and there I would hear people say, you need to check this out, or that it would win like a little award like Best New Series or something like that. And I finally actually read it, and it's really cool. It's really out there. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It's basically this universe that you get kicked straight into of, it's like 100 years in the, or 200 or 300 years in the future, and this corporation created super soldiers that are animals fused with humans, of course, you know. And that sounds way out there and bizarre, and it is.
Man, this is a comic universe.
But it throws you into it established. Like, and it doesn't take itself too seriously, but... Or I guess it kind of does. It does a good job of explaining things, and it just creates such character development. And it sounds weird to say such character development on these people that are essentially like an elephant and a rhino and this and that. But the writer just kicks ass, and I'm not even sure who writes it. But it creates this world and these characters. There's 3 or 4 main guys who now those soldiers were created about 100, 200 years ago. They fought this giant world war. The war's over. It's been over for a long time. And now those guys are in modern day, like the current America, just trying to live their lives. Most of them belong to this agency that's kind of like a government agency. It's just trying to protect America and solve crimes and stuff. You've got one guy who works for the LAPD, this zebra guy, like he's like a badass like sergeant, like he has an eye patch. Like you have him, you have Hip, which is one of the main characters, the hippo. He is a detective, and he and the elephant guy work together. You've got these human girls who are part of the story and part of the character development. And then you have the rhino. Almost everybody looks down on the regular humans. They think of them as abominations. They don't accept them. But you have the girls who like really treat them like normal people, and that whole storyline is fleshed out. But you have this rhino who basically made it as a celebrity, and he's kind of like a crime boss type guy, but he's kind of like a public celebrity, and he's marrying a wife and having a wife and gonna have kids, and that's like a huge deal, and people want to kill him because of it, you know, like you got like kind of your racist type people. Anyways, I'm going on and on. Long story short, it's really good.
Well, when you described it to me, you said also that there's flashbacks that kind of explain
stuff. Right. As the book goes on, each issue shows you stuff that happened in the past with them together, and you really start to get a look into their lives. And I want to say
that was one of my favorite things about Unknown Soldier, actually, was I love when like you're left wanting for more information, and then when they give you those little hints and flashbacks and stuff, you're like, oh, that makes sense now. I love when books do that kind of stuff. So, I mean, like, it's on my internet, like, something I want to check out eventually.
Yeah, I suggest people check it out, read about 12 issues, and if you even kind of like it, stick with it, because it gets much better as it goes on. And it's an ongoing series. It's at, like, issue 50 or so right now. I also read a bunch of Jonathan Hickman's older stuff that I had never read. He has a bunch of independent books that were like 4 to 6 issues long. They're just kind of little short hits stories. Ones I really liked was Secret, which is actually currently ongoing. It's actually the cool thing about all these Jonathan Hickman books. None of them are anything like each other.
I noticed
they're all these cool, independent, crazy ideas for a comic book. You're like, that doesn't sound like a good comic, but he makes it work. Secret is about kind of like internet security. There's this whole story. It basically is a movie. It could be easily be a movie. Yeah. It's about these people who are a security internet firm, and they hack into and threaten the lives of people, of like bosses of companies, into thinking that they need security, and then they step in and become the security front and make money and extort them, but like real cleverly. It's really, really well written. I like that one. Red Wing is really cool. It's a 4-issue story about, it's set in the future. There's it deals with time travel and these 2 guys and finding out what happened to their dads when they were in the I don't know how to describe it. It's all sci-fi. It's all science fiction. Real deep science fiction. It's really good. And Transhuman was really cool. Transhuman, the whole entire thing is told through the perspective of a guy like you would see on Discovery Channel or History Channel,
like a
doing like a documentary. And all he does is just go through and talk about what happened back when this happened. And it's these 2 companies that both started experimenting, doing genetic experiments at the same time. A guy and his ex-wife. And you have all these characters, and all that it is just the guy doing talking about the documentary, the people talking in interviews, and you learning the backstory of what all went down, and just experiencing it like that. And it's awesome. Really cool. Like, it gets
do
crazy.
All these have the Hickman-esque long-term plots that you don't realize are long-term plots.
Yeah, the ending of Transhuman is, I can't spoil it, but the ending of Transhuman you'll not see coming, and you'll laugh your ass off when it happens.
On the subject of Hickman, once again, East of West, I'm still loving. Like, every time I think, like, I'm like, I don't know if he can step this up anymore. Like, each issue just gets better and better and better. And, like, I feel like it's at that point where there's so many overarching stories that something big's just about to go down Hickman style. And I'm waiting for it.
There were a couple other books of his that I read that I didn't really like. Pax Romana was
I've heard good
cool.
things about it.
Yeah, it got tons of awards. I just didn't personally like it. It's about the Catholic people's, like the Pope's main guys, scientist guys, they discovered time travel. The Pope wants to use it. The church wants to fund it as like scientific experiments, but what happens is this general guy kind of takes over, and him and his mercenary guys go back in time to basically kill all the important people off to make sure that Romans become the main power in the whole entire world. Like, it has this... I just didn't like the way it was paced. It was a little boring to me, but it was a cool idea.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it was good. It just wasn't my kind of thing. Same thing I said with the other Hickman books the Manhattan Projects. Awesome idea. It was just a little too slow for my taste. It was taking too long to develop, so I dropped it. So, again, we talk about Hickman all the time on this podcast.
And it's one of those things when you
really is deserved, though.
When you first like used to talk about Hickman all the time when I first started comics, I was like, eh.
That was the heydays of Fantastic Four.
I know, and I was really about it. And then when I started reading stuff, I was like, oh my god, this is why. Like, that Fantastic Four run's still one of my favorite runs of comics, and I don't even like the Fantastic Four that much.
You take that back.
You take that back, Jack.
Like, I mean, like, that comic was great, and it's one of those... I don't want to say there aren't very many comics that make me, like, leave me begging for the next issue. Like, it did a really good job of making me really want to read, and that's what East of West is doing to me right now. Like, I'm so mad it's like a monthly comic. Like, I'm like, I want one of these every week if they could do it. And I hate that. Like, the cliffhangers, it just drives me up the wall.
Drew, you read anything lately? Got any read on it?
No, I've been reading a couple books mostly. But yeah.
What books you reading?
Just some random stuff.
I'm about to reread Hobbit and Journey and everything. And what's that other Tolkien book that I liked?
Silmarillion?
Huh?
The Silmarillion?
No.
The Silmarillion is less of a read and more of an epic journey.
There's another I about said Hickman Tolkien book that I really
Same
really
guy.
liked. Same, whatever.
Is it still in the Lord of the Rings universe?
No. There was another book I read in like middle school that was one of my favorite books, a little series. Anyways, I'll find that in a minute.
I want to say, like, when I first read the Lord of the Rings series, the trilogy, and then I read The Hobbit, and I read the Silmarillion. The only problem I really have with Tolkien is at times he can be the king of fluff, where he feels like the Mount Doom trek in Return of the King, when you get to that, is one of the most boring series of like 60 to 80 pages you will ever experience in your life. Like, I dredged through that. And then, like, there's a few other times some of his other books that get like that too, is it just slows down really bad, and it's like, it's not as enjoyable. And the Silmarillion, though, I would recommend to hardcore Lord of the Rings fans. It's really confusing.
Very.
But it's a lot of good insight into the mythology of Lord of the Rings, like, why is Gandalf a wizard, or where do these rings come from, or who is Sauron, and all this stuff. Like, it explains, like, the Maiar and all that.
Wait, I think it was Silmarillion now that I've been reading the description that I'm thinking of. I had to see the cover.
The Silmarillion's just... It's more like an encyclopedia of short stories.
Yeah.
That sounds like
There's a lot of stuff in
yeah.
the Hobbit movie.
That's what I'm thinking of then.
The problem is Jackson then didn't get the rights to the Silmarillion, so they can't properly describe or set up time periods that match the real mythology. But the Silmarillion's good if you're really hardcore into it. It takes a lot of getting used to. I mean, like, I would almost recommend rereading some of the stuff if you think you screwed it up and don't understand it. Because it does get really overarching and screwy sometimes.
So, we have been... It's been a long podcast, boys.
It's been a long podcast.
It kind of crept up on us because we didn't have that much news, but we talked about Mage Knight
Monday
so
did too, though. Monday we looked over like, holy crap.
For some reason, me and Austin talk more when you're not here. I don't know why. I think it's
Because Drew looks at me angrily when I talk
well,
too
in
much.
my mind, I'm like, we've got one less person. I got to do some extra talking to make up for Drew being gone. And we always talk
And then
too
I think
much.
the same thing, but we talk for like 4
And we
people.
always talk too much. Anyways, thanks for joining us this week. Subscribe to our new YouTube channel.
Do it.
Do it. Thank you for saying hour, Hunter.
Hey,
I appreciate that.
get off me back.
You want to fist bump me for that one, Drew? There we go.
Like my Facebook. God dang it, you just put it in my head. I said my Facebook. Like our Facebook page. That way you can get incoming news. Follow us on Twitter.
Us.
Did I say
Yeah,
me?
you said this.
Oh, I was going to say.
I know.
Now your mind...
I am.
Mind
Some
cloud.
sort of screwed mind control going on.
Email us on Gmail. God dang it, Drew. I'm trying to get through the outro.
He's perplexing. you.
Jeez. He's not perplexing. He's like quasi mind controlling me. He's mind controlling me, but I can only hit
Do you
myself.
think Mephisto might have given him a power or two when we brought him back that
God
we don't
dang.
know about? Drew, rip open your shirt. We need to see if there's a big upside down pentagram.
Keep your
on it.
shirts
go
on.
blind.
Keep your shirts on.
From the pure manliness.
Send any questions, comments, if you want to add advice you want to hear about. If you want to give us like main topic ideas that you'd like to hear us talk about.
What was just the tip this
Got questions, send us emails on dialhforheroclix@gmail.com. Again, if you guys need us to promote your upcoming either charity or ROC tournaments, send them to me a couple weeks ahead of time so we can get the word out and hopefully get some extra people to your venue. Thanks for joining us. See you next week.
Later.